Freedom, man. That's what it's all about. You've got to groove on freedom, like the good book says.
Welcome. You are listening to What on Earth is Happening. This show will discuss the topics of human consciousness, mind control, natural law, the occult, and all issues that affect the freedom of the people of Earth. What on Earth is Happening will endeavor to shine light upon the darkness of our world and to offer empowering solutions to the problems we face as humanity approaches its critical moment of choice. And now, here is your host, Mark Passio.
Welcome one and all, you're watching What on Earth is Happening. I'm your host, Mark Passio, my website, whatonearthishappening.com. Ladies and gentlemen, government is slavery. And here on What on Earth is Happening, we are ending slavery one mind at a time. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This is episode number 235 of What on Earth is Happening. Today is Sunday, August 16th, 2020. We have a great show lined up for you here today. You guys are going to be making the bulk of the content for this show. This is question and clarification show number 4, for real this time. We didn't get to questions and clarifications last week because I sort of went off on a rant about Apple and the tyrannical practices in the software community that they are enacting, and that people have no idea what they're actually doing and are often even picking up for tyrants, and saying that this corporate tyrant should be allowed to just run rampant all over people's rights. It's deplorable and it's inexcusable in today's digital information age that people would not understand what is actually going on in that realm. But there you have it. We're a totally ignorant society, So let's go over to the slides. I have a few housekeeping tasks to take care of. Again, this is questions and clarifications, part 4. We're going to do a series of these question and clarification shows from time to time on What on Earth is Happening. I do want to get into some deeper elements of the occult world in future episodes. I may be actually doing some teaching sessions on things like Rosicrucianism, Thelema, things like that, things that I feel covered as in-depth, maybe some segments on theosophy, etc. I want to do whole segments on psyops and, looking at how to pick apart a psyop operation, specifically the ones that talk about Hitler being a good human being that was trying to do wonderful things for the world, the founding fathers being treacherously evil people who just wanted to help the crown take over the world, the flat earth psyop, the Q psyop, etc. So many people have bought into all of this nonsense that gives the truth community a totally bad name. So these are things that I'll be pursuing on future editions of What on Earth is Happening. Quick housekeeping duties. You can still donate to help complete the documentary called Mark Passio and the Science of Natural Law. We are still on course to release this, hopefully by the end of the year. There's 5 donation tiers at gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. 100% of all donations go directly to production costs. All donors receive a complimentary copy of the completed documentary on flash drive and DVD. That is what the shipping cost is for, ladies and gentlemen. Many people do not quite understand that. If you're going to donate to receive the free documentary once it is complete. Again, you will not be getting that immediately. You will be getting that after we complete it. That's what the donation is for, to help us to complete it. Some people didn't quite understand that and are expecting the documentary immediately. The documentary is incomplete, folks. The donation is to help us finish it, to pay the video editing costs to finish the documentary. After it is complete, you will be the first to receive it on flash drive and DVD. And that is what the shipping cost is for. That is all you are, you're paying a shipping cost in addition to the donation. Okay, so you can make that donation if you want to be on the very early list of people to receive this documentary once it is complete. Gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. Please don't donate for it at the regular donation page. If you want to receive the documentary after it is complete by making a donation here, go to use the donation link at gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. Also at Gifts, we have new t-shirt, both short sleeve and long sleeve up there for Mark Passio and the Science of Natural Law. We have new flash drives. This flash drive I'm going to make public this week, actually, though. Worldview Violence and the Real Pandemics is coming out of the store exclusively. It's going to go live on YouTube this week. And then, of course, the complete Mark Passio One Great Work collection on a 500 gigabyte solid state drive. It's everything that I've ever released publicly on one drive. It's a very popular item on gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. Thank you for all who have donated there. What on Earth is Happening continues our proud cooperation with Autonomy. You could check out Autonomy's website at getautonomy.info. Also, please click the banners on the whatonearthishappening.com website at the top of the homepage to check out Autonomy Unlimited and their course that they offer. And then on the side, near the social media links, you can click the button for Autonomy, and that will take you to their book called 19 Essential Skills for Success Not Taught in School. So please check out and support our partner, Autonomy Unlimited, the brainchild of Richard Grove from TragedyandHope.com. The How to Become the True Media is going strong. I think we had a very great class last week. This week is class number 7 out of 23. That's going to be this Tuesday, August 18th. The webinar begins at 7 p.m. to allow people 1 hour to come into the class. Class instruction starts promptly at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Please be on time or you might miss important information that will not be repeated. Keep a notepad handy for notes and questions. And headphones are recommended if you want to interact with the class, namely to ask questions so that no feedback or echo happens. If you have any technical problems or any other problems with the True Media seminar, please email truemedia@whatonearthishappening.com. I want to say something else very briefly about emails. If I give an email out on this show, ladies and gentlemen, please respect what we are asking you to use it for. Okay, we get emails that are adding a lot of signal to the noise, okay? If I say that we're trying to get help at What on Earth is Happening, and for help, you should email my assistant, Leah, if you're qualified. Don't send Leah notes for me. It's rude. It's not what we're asking for, and you make her job harder. Plus, I'm not fielding emails that way. You're not going to reach me that way. Okay? The end. Those emails are going in the trash. Do you understand? I don't want to be mean about it, folks. But if I asked you to send relay emails to my assistant instead of people who actually want to help the What on Earth is Happening effort, then I would tell you to do that. Don't take it upon yourself to clog up my assistant's email address with your hopes that she's going to forward stuff to me, because it's not going to happen. I'll let people get a hold of me who I want to get a hold of me. Do you understand? Okay? If you don't honor that request and you want to be a dick about it, then your email goes into a block list at the server end and we never see your communications. You could write to your heart's content. It will never even be seen. All right? And again, I don't want to have to be that asshole, but I will. All right? That's how it'll work. So if I asked you to use an email for a particular purpose and you don't use it for that purpose, your email's going in a block list. That's it. We're not taking any crap about it. If we ask you to use an email for a particular purpose, stick to that purpose or your email will be banned on our servers. All right. That's all I have to say about that. Okay? The other thing is people have been putting Leah's email in the, we've been advertising a volunteer section on the website, and people have been reposting this to mainstream job boards like LinkedIn. Don't do that. We didn't ask you to do that. We asked you to find people by word of mouth, not by posting where people internationally are going to be thinking that this is a paying job. We're asking for in-house volunteers for the enormity of work that we have done here. We don't want people from LinkedIn coming in from China and South Korea and wherever else asking us, oh, we'll do this work for you for this much money. First of all, it clogs in our boxes. You're not making it any easier for us to get help. You're making it harder. I don't understand why people don't understand things like that. It's like you think you're helping, but you're not. You're not helping. So don't do that. Don't post our email addresses on big public mainstream media, mainstream job boards. It doesn't help. It adds noise to the signal. It's dross. Okay? And we're looking for the wheat and to separate that from the chaff and the dross. And you doing that doesn't help us. It makes our job harder. And you should know that. You shouldn't be naive enough not to know that. Okay? People should know that in today's day and age. You shouldn't be that dumb and naive. I'm very happy about this technologically. This is a big announcement, actually, okay? I told everyone I was on Library, and I've been using a channel just Mark Passio, okay? I've made a new channel called WOEIH for What on Earth is Happening. Very short URL, library.tv/WOEIH. Okay? We are in the process of uploading every single piece of What on Earth is Happening content. See, folks, let me tell you the difference about how I do things, okay? We're getting off of YouTube entirely. That doesn't mean I won't be posting to YouTube, but my entire website will be YouTube censorship free. We will not be depending on YouTube for a damn thing. Because fuck you, you Nazi censor scum. That's what you are, you trash. You're Nazi censoring scum trash who came from Nazi censoring scum parents. Your parents instilled this trash garbage in you. They're as much of Nazi trash as you are. People who work at YouTube, you're Nazi scum trash. So are all the people at Facebook. So are all the people at Twitter who work there. You're Nazi trash. That's what you are, and that's what your fucking parents were, trash. All right? And you know what? For the people, as an aside, the people that say I get too angry, you don't understand where the anger is coming from because you're spiritually broken. That's what's wrong with you. There's no problem with me, folks. I'm perfectly fine. This is the proper emotional reaction when dirty, rotten Nazis and communists are censoring the truth. That anger is a perfectly valid reaction. It's the proper state of mind to be in. You're broken if you can't feel it. There's something wrong in your heart, mind, and soul. You're fucked up. Not me. I'm working perfectly fine. That's the proper emotional response. You're the one who's fucked up and broken. All right? So if you don't like the anger, shut the fucking show off. I don't want you. You're the fucking dross. That's not who I'm looking for. I'm looking for people with willpower who understand why I'm angry, and they're just as angry as I am. If you're not that, you don't understand. You might think you understand, but you don't have enough information. You're a little fucking naive child that thinks you know, and you don't know, son. You think you know. And there's a difference between thinking you know and actually knowing. So don't tell me about I have anger issues. No, I have the proper emotional response to what's taking place in this fucked up world. You're broken, boy. You're broken, little girl. Not me. Let's get that clear. All right? So moving on. Library.tv, we're uploading all of the content from day one. And you know what, folks? I have it all. I download everything I've ever done, no matter who has it. Okay? So this way, nothing can be censored. We're in the process already of moving content over to library. And you can see in the news section and on certain videos already, they've been moved to library. We're going to continue that day in, day out, week in, week out. We'll do it as we have time, okay? And everything will be converted over to library CDN. This way, there's no more censorship. It's not even possible, okay? And guess what? If somebody else's channel gets taken down, and you could see that has happened, other people's channels have gotten taken down, I have all that content backed up locally. You won't stop me, Nazi trash! You won't stop me! You won't stop this one! Okay? And the people who don't understand my anger, you're worthless, and I don't need you. We don't need you. The true freedom movement doesn't need you, boy. It doesn't need you, little chump girl. Doesn't need you, punk. We're going to move forward with our willpower and true knowledge. And we're going to leave you, the dross, in the background where you belong. Because you're worthless. You're worthless, and you're know-nothing people. You're people who think you know, and you know exactly fucking balls squat is what you know. Okay? If you want to call in today's show to ask questions or request clarifications, you can call in via Discord. We're going to do most of the show via Discord, and then we will take some questions via email. The Discord link, whatonearthishappening.com/Discord to join. I highly recommend the Discord app with a set of USB headset with, over the earphones and a microphone. Okay, that's the best way to do it. All right, it's folks, it's $20. Okay, anybody interacting anywhere on the internet should have one of these. Look at it. This was this set. Oh my God, it was a little more expensive. This was a whopping $30. Whoa! Whopping $30, right? People don't want to even invest a little bit of money in their setups to get a set of USB headset with earphones and a microphone built in. You plug it into the USB port and you're done. And it's pretty high quality. And it works very well. Send your questions for the show to questions@whatonearthishappening.com. That's questions.whatonearthishappening.com. All right? I will probably not be going over too many email questions today, but I may. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to definitely be getting to Discord calls momentarily. Have a couple more things to go through. Let's bust on the mask wearers and the idiots who believe the coronavirus psyop bullshit. Okay? Let's bust on them for a little while. I think that's good use of our time. And let's make it really comic today, because I'm going to start taking things in a very sarcastic, comic direction to try to alleviate some of the anger that is continually blowing up in me. All right? So, corporations are destroying our country, says the non-player character wearing a fucking mask. And then the person who sees things clearly says, yet you trust the corporate media and corporate medicine? And then jackass non-player character on the left there gets angry because he's seeing his own internal contradictions. What a fucking clown he actually is. What a fucking imbecile. Okay? And I'm talking to all the fucking people who bought this psyop and are mask wearers and are buying into all the fear-mongering and fear porn of the mainstream media. You're fucking clowns. You're fucking clowns. All of you. All of you. You're know-nothing clowns. You don't know how. You don't even understand the mainstream media are paid intelligence agents, dark occultist liars. You don't even understand Operation Mockingbird. You know? You don't understand how all the deep state intelligence agencies work to get you believing lies and psyops. You know? You're imbecilic clowns. Imbecilic clowns. That's all you've ever really been. Who think you know and you don't know shit about what's going on in this world. Not shit. It's just as easy to buy a scientist as it is to buy a politician. Amen. You think mainstream science doesn't take payoffs? Here, you know who the assholes are who think this dumb shit that scientists can't be bought off? People who have never worked in scientific institutions. That's who you are. You think you know about what goes on in scientific institutions, and you've never worked inside one. Folks, not only have I been behind the corridors of power of government, banking, military, police, every mainstream institution on the face of the earth, I've seen behind the corridors of power, of ostensible power. I've worked in a scientific institution. How many people can say that they've done that? I've worked in a university. I've worked in an Ivy League university's medicine college. That's what I worked in. I worked at the University of Pennsylvania's School of Medicine in their information services department, fixing computers in their laboratories. I got a very first-hand look at what went on. And folks, let me tell you something. I had access to all of their documents on all of their computers in all of the laboratories, including the laboratory heads. I saw everything they do. And when I'm telling you it's as crooked as the day is long, and it's all funded by junk money, by blood money coming in from the government to fund junk science, to continue to put out the propaganda and the narratives that they want the public believing, that the mainstream media keeps shitting out to the public, shitting in their mouth, and they keep regurgitating. So don't tell me scientists are some noble entities that can't be bought. You want to know the ones who are really speaking out and don't care? They don't care if they get censored. They're the ones who are more likely to be telling the truth. They don't care if they lose their tenure. They don't care if they lose their job. They're not about it for the money. They're actually trying to tell the public the truth. That's who I'll be more apt to listen to and investigate their claims. So don't tell me unless you've worked behind the scenes, which 99.999% of you haven't. Okay? You talk out your ass because you think you know how it works, and you don't know how it works. You just say you think you know how it works. You don't know shit, boy. The mask is just a fashion statement for those who find obedience fashionable. Exactly. Let's give this person a standing ovation, okay? Because that's exactly correct. That's what this is about. Obedience, which isn't a virtue, let alone a fashion statement. Okay? It's certainly not a fashion statement, but most of all, it's no virtue. And that's what these people are. Obedient, willful slaves. You're obedient, willful slaves. And the ones of you who should know better based on the information you have been exposed to, you're even a worse situation than the dumb, ignorant scum out there who don't even want to look at the information. You're in a worse situation because you should know better. Trash. Most of you are going to feel so foolish and childish, and you should already. The problem is you should be embarrassed and ashamed of yourself for not feeling like a foolish fuck already. You know, who have bought into this shit. Because coronavirus is just this slow-mo 9/11. That's all it is. You know, be in fear. Hate your neighbors. Implement the Trace Act. Don't question the government. Accept all new surveillance measures. Fauci is God. You know, trade your freedom for safety. This is the new normal. Trust everybody on the mainstream media. And let's fight the invisible enemy that will probably never be able to be conquered, just like the so-called fucking terrorists who did 9/11. You know, you're the same jackasses who believe the media narrative about 9/11. Fucking retards is what you are. Okay? As a matter of fact, you're not just retards. Let me tell you what you really are. You know what? All the people who buy into this fucking nonsense and psyop, you know what you really are? You guys are clowns. Okay? You're clowns. But, you know, even more than clowns, you're religious. You are a religious cult member. You're a religious cult member. Okay? And clowns. All right? And people need to start calling you what you are, cult members. You are in a cult. You are in a cult. A cult. And the cult is the cult of believing in the government and the mainstream media. That's your cult. And they should be called the cult of the branch Covidians, because that's what they are. Remain terrified, question nothing, stay home. Naive people. They're a cult who have formed a cult-like following. They're not a cult-like following. They are a cult. People who have formed a cult for the media and will do virtually anything they say regarding coronavirus. You know? What the media really needs to tell you to do is to expose to the world who you really are. Here's what the media should tell you to dress up like. They should tell you to dress up like a fucking clown. Okay? And people who have listened to this show in the past know what this is and what it represents. And I'm going to briefly explain what this image represents for those who don't know. As everybody should know by now, I was a former Satanist. I worked with what you might call dark secret societies or dark occult orders. Okay? Dark occult orders. These are people who are behind the ostensible institutions and the ostensible power structure that people think exists in the world, and they have no idea who really runs things. And who really runs things behind the scenes are Satanists and dark occultists who know everything there is to know about the human psyche and know how to manipulate people. They're ancient psychologists, ancient evil psychologists that know exactly how to manipulate people. I recommend watching the new film Shadowgate that Millie Weaver came out with. A disgrace that Millie Weaver has been kidnapped by government agents, kidnapped against her will by government agents for making a film exposing what goes on in the intelligence agencies. And of course, the cult of the left and the cult of the believers in the mainstream media narrative and the government, because they want that cult power on their side. They don't want to destroy it. They want to direct it. You're evil, low-life scumbag, authoritarian violence supporters. You're slavery supporters is what you people are. All of you people going out and voting at all, you're slavery supporters. If you don't understand what true anarchy is by now, you are a supporter, you're a willful supporter of human slavery, because that's all government ever has been. It's a euphemism. You can call it kingship, you can call it pharaonic rule, you can call it anything you want to call it. It's called slavery. You could call it feudalism as a form of government, but it doesn't make a difference how you euphemize it. It's human slavery. It's authority vested in either one person or vested in an oligarchical few. It doesn't matter how you look at it or euphemize it. I call it what it really is, and it's slavery. Now, I was associated through Satanism with some of the people who are actually the ruling class of the world, the dark occult ruling class. And I stayed in communication with some of them, not many of them, but with some of them, even after I left some of these dark occult organizations that I had been either directly a member of or peripherally involved with. Some of those organizations are the Church of Satan, the Order of the Evil Eye, the Temple of Set, although I was not an official member of that organization, and other groups, the Whitehall Church of Satan, etc. Okay? I had affiliations with a lot of those groups. And I was a priest in one of them, namely the Church of Satan. I showed my membership information on a show a few shows back, okay, and posted that in the podcast archive. I kept emailing throughout, very infrequently over the years, one of the members of one of those organizations. And I'll just name, I'm not going to tell people who it was, but I'll name the organization. It was the Order of the Evil Eye. I would email a person in that who I knew was connected up to higher levels of the occult hierarchical network, because they had come to some rituals in my tri-state area where some of these people who were much higher level in the satanic hierarchy attended. And so I asked this person during the whole Ron Paul revolution era back in 2007 and 2008, when Ron Paul was running for president, bringing in a lot of people at his campaign for liberty speeches on his campaign trail. I emailed this Satanist who is still actively involved in Satanism and the wider worldwide hierarchical network, not just in these little front organizations that I have mentioned. And if people think that they're the organizations that I'm talking about that run the world, you have no idea what you're talking about, jackass. And you don't understand how the power structure works. These are front organizations that interface with the public. They're small time. Okay? I'm not saying the Church of Satan and the Whitehall Church of Satan in Pennsylvania, or the Order of the Evil Eye, or the Temple of Set run the world. If you hear that in what I'm saying, you're not listening. You're hearing what you want to hear. And that's what most people do. They hear what they want to hear, not what's being said. I said they're small front interface organizations that interface with the public at a very low level, that are small fries, small potatoes. It connects up into much higher hierarchical levels of the worldwide network that is the real power structure that runs the world. This is what you don't understand. You think you're hearing me say the Church of Satan runs the world. No, asshole, never said that. I said it's a front organization to vet people with psychopathic tendencies and groom them up into the satanic network. But you don't hear that. You hear what your fucking dumbass brain wants you to hear. I don't know how many thousands of times I've had to clarify that for fucktards that insist I'm saying something else. And I've never said that. That's what you've erroneously heard because your brain doesn't work right. Because you're one of the fucking clowns these Satanists talk about. You have no ability to think critically and hear what's actually being said. Your mind switches into I hear what I want to hear mode because you don't know how to think. And I'm talking to a lot of my listening audience, a lot of my viewing audience. And then there are people who say, oh, there's just a few of those people. No, you're wrong. It's the majority. It's the majority, even of my viewership. Because if you heard what I was saying, you'd be doing something about it. You wouldn't be sitting back complaining about how anybody else does a thing. You'd be doing something. I wouldn't have to ask for more people doing this because more people would be doing it. More people would be exposing the evil of the world. Not talking shit on other people who are doing it. You don't hear me talking shit on people who are doing it. I talk shit on people who aren't doing it. That's the difference between me and you. So this Satanist, I asked him in an email back in 2007, 2008. I don't exactly recall. It was around late 2007, I believe. Okay? Maybe early 2008. I said, what does the higher ups, what do the higher ups in the higher level of the satanic worldwide hierarchy who are really running things think of the whole liberty movement, the freedom movement, whatever you want to call it, you know? And this person did not answer me with words. He sent back an attachment in email of this clown. Now, in my former podcast, I gave you the image with as it really came with a white background. I had my graphics people mask it out to put it in lay it up against a nice black background for the purpose of this show. So this is a slightly modified version, but the actual original JPEG image had a white background. Just letting people know, okay? And then I showed this image publicly and told people that this is what they think of you. This is what they think of you. The people who are actually in the so-called freedom movement. They're not worried about you folks. They have never been worried about you. You think they're worried about people like me exposing them? They're not worried about you. They look at you as exactly what you are. You're a fucking clown to them. You're a clown to them. And you know what? I agree. I said this before. I totally agree with the Satanists. I agree with the people who are running the world. This is what you guys are. And guess what? I don't care. I'm going to offend my own viewing audience. I don't give a fuck. Like I said, I'll burn this whole operation to the ground if I want to, folks. I'll burn the whole fucking show and the whole fucking operation to the ground if that's what I wish to do. I don't care about you tuning in. I don't care about you as my viewership. I don't care about money that comes into this organization. I don't care anymore. I'm going to say what's true, and I don't give a fuck who it offends. So if you're offended, get as fucking offended about it as you like. It's true nonetheless, except for the handful of people out there who are doing the great work who aren't clowns. I'm not a fucking clown, and there's a handful of people who aren't fucking clowns. The rest of you, this is apropos, and it fits the situation, and it's exactly true. If you're not involved, this is what you are, and the Satanists think this of you. And they're right. They're correct. They are correct. All right? And this is what all the people who buy into the mainstream narrative, this is what all the people who buy into the PSYOP, this is what you are, you're clowns. And now, folks, this is going to be a repeating character on What on Earth. Put it back. This is going to be a repeating character on What on Earth is Happening, because me and my buddy Jay Parker, okay, who does 2 shows on the Revolution Broadcasting Network. You should check out his shows weekly in Revolution Broadcasting Studio B. I'm actually going to be on his show coming up in the very near future. I don't have an exact date, but, I'll let everybody know, okay? Jay officially christened this clown Bobo. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Bobo the Clown. Bobo the Clown. This is the representation of all the people in the freedom movement. You know who this is? This is all the jackass moral relativists out there. This is you, jackass moral relativists. Yeah, this is Bobo the Clown. That's who you are. Wait a minute. Bobo says, "Where's my slab? Where's my slab?" Oh, Bobo the Clown. Bobo the Clown says, morality's not objective, it's relative. Bobo the Clown says it. You know what we have for you, folks? We have some props for Bobo, for you guys. The whole representation of the freedom movement. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobo the Clown. Here we go. We got some props for you. Hold on. I got some surprises. There's some surprises today on What on Earth is Happening. Okay, let's transcend some of the anger and go into some really dark humor. Okay, I got a secret box here. Oh, what do we need? What does Bobo the Clown need? Hold on, we have something for Bobo, for all the Bobos out there. We got something for you. Look at this. Here you go. This is what you sound like. That's for Bobo the Clowns out there. All the Bobos out there. This is what you sound like when you speak. That's it. That's it. There's your fucking slide whistle, Bobos. That's what you sound like every time your mouth opens. Let me hit it again. Yep, that's you. That's what you sound like. There's your slide whistle. Every good clown needs one, okay? Every good Bobo out there needs a high-quality slide whistle. Maybe I'll make this an item on gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. Who knows, okay? Maybe we'll do that, Wait a minute. Clowns need music, right? They need music, don't they? Okay, you need music. So here's some music for you, right? We need some good circus music, don't we? Right? So can you still hear me over that? It's good. The volume's still good. Good. Because I want to play the music in the background for all the fucking Bobos out there. Okay? All right. The whole thing is, you know what Jay said to me one day? He said this phrase. I'm going to try to make it popular and try to remember it. I'm paraphrasing. He said, "A world full of people that are as ignorant and clownish as we have out there in the world could only have a clown for a god." So you know what Bobo is? He's not just the archetypal representation of all the idiots out there. He's their god. Bobo is the god of this world. Like they call Satan the lord of this world. Well, here's Bobo, god of this world. Bobo is the top god. He's way above Satan. He's way above Lucifer. This is the god of the universe for all the fucking clowns out there. Bobo is your god, ladies and gentlemen. This is the god of all creation for all the fucking clowns out there. Okay? And he's got his slide whistle. He's got the music. What else does a good clown need? Any good clown. I thought I was going to be able to do this without totally breaking up. All right? But every good clown needs, here we go. They need a clown horn. Every good clown needs a clown horn. Yeah. Every good clown needs a good clown horn. Let me go back. I'll take the, yeah. All right, here we go. Here's your clown horn, Bobos. Right? That's what you sound like. Here's a combination of what you sound like. You start like this. You start just like this. And you end like this. You got it? That's what you sound like. Okay? You're not doing the great work. You're clowning up the joint. You're clowning up the joint. As a matter of fact, what's that smell? Oh, God. There's like a distinct smell in the room, and I think it's from all the Bobos out there that think they're doing the great work, but are just clowning themselves up. And after a long, hard day of work, I think I know what that smell is in the office here in the studio here at What on Earth is Happening. I think I can identify that. And yeah, folks, here it is coming out of my prop box. This is what every good clown needs at the end of a hard day. I know they get a little bit sweated up. So, somebody must have left them here. They must have left them outside the door. But every clown needs a good pair of clown shoes. Okay? You need a good pair of clown shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, here at What on Earth is Happening, we endorse Flopperoo brand clown shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, Flopperoos, the best clown shoes in the world, the only clown shoes you Bobos will ever need. Flopperoo brand clown shoes. Get them while they're hot. This might be another hot item at the gifts store at whatonearthishappening.com. Okay? You need your nice big set of red and yellow polka dot floppies. Flopperoo brand clown shoes. Okay, number one brand clown shoe on earth. Get them while they're hot. Get them before they go. What on Earth is Happening endorses Flopperoos. All right? This is the joke. This is the joke that the entirety of the freedom movement is and actually really always has been. You guys should be laughed at ridiculously. Ridiculously. All right? And I'm going to try to make it the joke that it is. Okay? Instead of getting as angry, let me just try to just rip on you infinitely worse than I ever have. Because guess what, folks? This is what your owners think of you. For real. Being totally serious, and they're correct. They are correct because they know that you're lazy pieces of dirt that have largely done nothing. And that's sad. That's not a joke. That's actually not funny. It's very fucking sad. That's why we're in the situation that we're in. Because you guys have left it up to other people when I've repeatedly told you, I don't got this. None of us got this. There are no white hats. Q doesn't got this. It's a bullshit psyop. If you still believe it, you're a little fucking grade school child. Okay? We don't got this. In case you can't tell, the world's going down the toilet faster than anybody could have ever predicted, including myself. It is up to you to get involved and get on the battlefield. And you know how many of you are doing that? A piss poor amount. And for that, I gotta say, the dark occultists are right. You're not just clowns, ladies and gentlemen. You're clown shoes. Get the image on there. Here's what you are. You're clown shoes. Okay? You're big, floppy, reeky, sweaty fucking clown shoes. All right? And you could say, yeah, oh yeah, it's funny, but really, it's a tragedy. It's really a tragedy. Okay? So, I had some fun. I couldn't quite keep a straight face. Yeah, my producer's giving me a great thing. It's one size fits all, folks. Just like the mindset that most of the people out there are in. It's a one size fits all shoe for a one size fits all mind. Okay? So, yeah, great point. So, here's the thing, folks. The only thing that gets us out of this whole comedy, this bad comedy show, and like I said, me and Jay were joking around on the phone last night, Jay Parker. He said, this is like a bad comic show that has gone far too long and is no longer funny, like in its 10th season. I said, yeah, you know what it's called, Jay? There's a TV term for that. It's called, it has jumped the shark. The whole world has jumped the fucking shark from Happy Days when Fonzie jumps over the shark on, being towed by a towboat, a speedboat, okay? The whole world has jumped the shark, folks. And that's because we waited too long to do something. People waited too long to get involved. You want to sit there and listen to what other people say instead of you saying something. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Stop telling other people who are actively involved to do what they're doing differently. You do something and get involved. So that's all I wanted to say regarding all the clowns out there. Now, I want to wrap up the show from last week with a couple of quick notes, okay? First of all, let's go back to the slides. Last week we talked about Tim Dolph Kuckler and Crapple, okay? Heil Kuckler, okay? Being the digital Nazis of the 21st century. What I didn't finish with were a couple of slides, and I want to show people how this really works, okay? First of all, last week's show was about the censorship of Downey from the Apple platform. Not just in the App Store, as I said, but on the whole Mac platform. Then Apple, because of all the negative press, apologizes. Now Apple's in a new battle with Epic Games because they've banned Fortnite from the App Store because they don't want to allow Epic to do any interactions direct to the public. This is what this is about, folks. It's about a monopoly on a whole computing platform. And no, the monopoly issue, people still don't understand what's being said because your brains are fucking broken, okay? The monopoly is not about that you can go to a different platform. It doesn't mean if you don't like how Apple does it on iOS, you can go use Android or Microsoft. That's not the monopoly. The monopoly is no developer can make an application for the iOS platform and sell it through anybody except Apple. Apple are the gatekeepers of all apps on a platform. That is monopoly power. You don't understand what monopoly power means. It means you have no competitors in a sphere of influence, and you control the entirety of a feature set. The reason I don't say that Google has as much of a monopoly on Android is because with the tick of a setting box, you can sideload applications from third-party developers that then can create entire feature sets for a platform of software. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Or are you that dumb? And I know what the answer is, folks. I know most people can't follow a fucking word I say. You're that dumb. And if you disagree, there's an answer and there's an actual description of what you are. You're just fucking morally wrong. You're wrong. This is the correct moral position and you're wrong. You're factually wrong, and most of all, and more importantly, you're morally wrong. No one should have that fucking monopoly power. And if you think they do, you're an immoral piece of fucking garbage. You're just morally wrong. You're morally in the wrong, and you're factually wrong. So Apple has another legal battle on their hands now with Epic Games, and I hope Epic drags them through the shit and helps draw attention to this. I've been trying to draw attention to this privately, this whole scenario of fascism in the digital computing space for over 13 years of my life. All the jackasses out there who side with Apple, get the fuck off my social media platforms. You're not my friend in real life, and you're not my digital friend. Unfriend me, fuckface. I've told you to do it already. If you agree with Apple in any of this, get the fuck off my social media. You're taking up a slot that I could give to somebody who understands instead of you fucktard. So I wanted to finish a couple of slides and visually show people how this censorship actually works. Okay? Google does not want people posting to YouTube anything that can go viral on the platform. Okay? They don't want that. They don't want people downloading from YouTube, which is why they probably pressured Apple to ban the Downey program, because it's the best YouTube downloader in the world. Okay? I'm not endorsing it as a product. I'm saying that I personally use it, and it's the best in its class. Okay? I'm not getting any kickback from the developer of Downey monetarily. I'm just telling you what I use because it's the best in class software of its kind. That's why they banned it. They don't want it to be easy to grab something from YouTube because then it makes it that much easier to repost it to other publishing content platforms like BitChute or Library or elsewhere. Okay? So, this is one of the things that they censored, a press conference from doctors who were talking about hydroxychloroquine as being a alternative treatment and possible cure for COVID-19. So I'm going to step out of the presentation. Okay, so cut back to me. And I'm going to go to my web browser in a second, and then you could bring it back over. All right, bring it back over. All right, I'm going to type in YouTube. And actually, here's what I'm going to do. That's okay, leave it there. I'm going to copy, leave it on the computer. I'm going to copy this headline, okay? So I copied this from my presentation, all right? And I'm going to actually put that into my web browser. So I'm going to say, put that in there and search on YouTube. This is going to conduct a YouTube query, okay? Now, you'll see it comes up, okay? Now, yesterday, that wasn't even coming up. 617 views because it just went up. Let me pause it. Okay, and let me look at the length. 43 seconds. That's not the press conference. This is something about it. Okay, so you'll notice, I'll go back to that search. There is nothing there, right? Now, this one, 14 minutes. That's not the whole thing. And it says ban. That's somebody talking about it. As you can see, I'll go to it. Right, so let's mute it. This is just someone talking about the ban. Do you understand? You cannot actually reach that information. It's banned everywhere. Okay? If you see little clips of it, it's somebody talking about the press conference, not showing the data that these doctors showed. So you can keep scrolling and scrolling, but you are not going to find that press conference. Anybody who posted, see, 1 minute and 18-second clip, 1 minute and 40-second clip. Okay, here's a 2-minute clip, a 10-minute clip, but you're not going to find that whole press conference. Okay, so let me now search on library. So here's a library search. Right there, 27 minutes and 54 seconds, you can actually watch the actual press conference. And the press conference was even longer than this, but you're going to get a big bulk of it. And then probably, here's one, 45 minutes, 40 seconds. Do you see how censorship works, folks? This is how censorship actually works, okay? This is the entirety of the conference, 45 minutes and 40 seconds, okay? Without the very brief introduction. It was a little longer than that. This is my point, folks. You cannot rely on YouTube as a publishing platform anymore because they censor like the dirty rat, fascist, Nazi trash that they are. Okay? And if you continue to rely on these fucking Nazi dirtbags, you are going to be treated like the clown that you are. Okay? They're going to say, these people are clowns, let's treat them like clowns. And first of all, I don't believe in just accepting that. I think YouTube needs to be forcibly made to back down from that position. Forcibly, because they don't have the right. Those human beings are presuming that they have this right when they do not. And no fuck-face, asshole, trash, scumbag, corporatist, fascist trash, and caps out there. No, you're wrong too. They can't do whatever they want just because they're a private platform, assholes. They're censoring freedom of speech on a platform that says is claiming to enshrine it. If they're private publishers, then they can do that. Then don't pretend you're giving a publishing platform to anyone else. Okay? That's not private publishing. What they are doing now by censoring is private publishing, and then all of their little, niceties that they get from government and, whatever you want to call it, kickbacks should be taken away from them. Any of those subsidies. And they are getting a lot of them. The whole point is private publishers can take down what they want from their platform. This is a public utility. You are making a public utility available unto people for their own freedom of speech. That is the stated mission statement of something like YouTube. And don't say that it isn't, because yes, it is. All right? So all you so-called anarchist ANCOMs out, ANCAPs, sorry. I get them confused because they're equally as dumb bags of shit. Okay? I'm not on the left or the right. I'm not in the ANCOM, ANCAP. I'm a purist anarchist that knows that anarchy can only come about when people live in accordance with natural law. The end for all fucking time. That's the eternal truth of the matter. Okay? And you don't hear the ANCAPs or comms ever talking about natural law. because they both have their head up their ass. So far, they're never going to get it out. This is how censorship works, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't already understand it, that's why I highly encourage people to move over to the LBRY platform. LBRY.com to get the app, LBRY TV to start publishing your content once you have a login and password. Okay? Make your channels here, upload your content here. It's blockchain based. It's got a great CDN backbone behind it, and it will never be censored. You know, I don't know why people are relying on YouTube to the extent that they are this far into the digital information age, but here's the problem. People don't understand the technology. That's part of the problem. All right? So, that being said, the last thing that I want to say about last week's show, switch back over to the slides, please, is all the people who say, if you don't like the way this person does it, go over to another platform. If you don't like how Apple does things, then just don't use Mac OS. Just go over to Linux. You know, it's the same exact thing as all the people who say, oh, if you don't like America, if you don't like how we do things here in America, love it or leave it. That's what you sound like, you fucking Bobo the Clowns out there. Your shoes are reeking. The clown shoes you're wearing, they're reeking up the joint, man. You know, take your stink out of here, because you reek of clown shoes. As a matter of fact, you don't just reek of clown shoes, you are clown shoes. The people who say this, oh, if you don't like the way Apple does things, just use Linux. If you don't like how America does things, just leave it. Where's my slab? I gotta post my, if you don't like how Apple does things, just use Linux to my slab. You're fucking clown shoes. And that's all you've ever been. You know, no, I'm not gonna move because I'm right. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not moving because I'm in the moral right. You're in the moral wrong. You're gonna move. Not me. You stick your tail between your legs, coward. That's not the way I roll, punk. I'm in the moral right. They're in the moral wrong. I'm gonna move them. So let's get serious for a moment, all right? Back to the slides. This quote by Gustave Le Bon. The masses have never thirsted after truth. They turn aside from evidence that is not to their taste, preferring to deify error, if error seduce them. Whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master. Whoever attempts to destroy their illusions is always their victim. Yeah, well, that may have been the case, but you know what? I'm not your victim. Not without consequence. Once again, you may get me, but not without consequence. Know that like you know your own name, boy. You're not going to get this one without consequence. And you can interpret that however you like. I'm sure you can come up with something imaginative. Back to the slides. Last one. This is as best of a definition of authenticity as I have ever seen put in an internet meme. Authenticity, noun. What happens when your love of truth becomes more important to you than what others think of you. And ladies and gentlemen, there is no better definition of agape than I have ever seen than this simple definition. Authenticity, the genuine human being that's going to display their anger, their righteous indignation, and does not care what others think of them. You think I care what you think of me, little child? You're a little fucking child. All the people that say, why is Mark so angry? Why is Mark so angry? That's what you sound like, clown. You know? So let's just make totally ridiculous humor about what a fucking jackass clown you are because your whore fucking mother didn't raise you to be an authentic being. You want to get personal? Let's make it personal. Fucktard. All right? Your rotten horse skank of a fucking mother didn't raise you right, boy. That's what happened. You want to make it personal? Let's make it fucking personal. I'll get real personal with you. All right? I'm the real article. I'm the real thing. I'm a real man. This is what a real man sounds like when human rights are being destroyed. You're a little fucking pussy boy child. Let's get it straight. You're the fake. I'm the real thing. You're a coward. I have courage. You can't become angry because you're soul broken. You're broken at the soul level. This is what righteousness sounds like in the year 2020. There is no problem with me. You're the problem, little boy. You're the problem. And all the women out there who want to say they can't hear anger, your mother and your father did a fucking job on you too, little girl. And then all you want to do is try to seduce other men and get them to your siren call to lay down in a time when they should be standing up and speaking. Any so-called man that follows that piece of trash, you deserve what happens to you. You deserve what happens to you spiritually, and you deserve what's going to happen to you physically. Burn this definition into your brain. Authenticity is what happens when your love of truth, agape, becomes more important to you than what others think of you. And if you can't tell, I don't give a fuck about what others think of me, and I really haven't ever. I gave a modicum of a fuck when I first started What on Earth is Happening to try to get people just to listen. People go, it's hard to even hear Mark today. Then guess what, fuckhead? Turn the fucking show off. We don't need you. All right? You're the dross. I'm looking for the spiritual gold out there with a set of balls. You're not that. So away you go. Go stick your head in a fucking hole and stay there. Anybody who can really hear the truth, you're going to hear the truth in every word I just said. And you're going to understand where the anger comes from. And I'll mix it in there with some ridiculous humor too. All right? But what I'm saying is true nonetheless. And nothing you say or do will ever make it untrue. All right. That ends the section on the Apple fascism. I wanted to get those two last slides in there and those couple of slides about what a genuine human being is, because we've lost sight of that. All right, so gifts.whatonearthishappening.com for hard items of my flash drives, DVDs. There's t-shirts up there, keychains, buttons, stickers. We're going to get some new nice coasters in soon. Probably have some other items coming soon. Gifts.whatonearthishappening.com, folks. If you want to get the ARC, whatonearthishappening.com/ARC, or just click the ARC tab or button on the website. 1 terabyte of information, all my research information. ARC 2 is coming soon. It's going to be a 2 terabyte drive. Folks, literally, I'm a hair away from finishing that. I said that there was only a little bit of space left. There's like probably about 8 gigabytes left that I have to fill, which is nothing. Okay, so ARC 2 is coming literally very, very, very soon. If you want to make a straight donation, 11 ways to do that. All kinds of donation methods, PayPal, Patreon, 6 different cryptocurrencies, personal check, personal money order. Or you can donate on the Amazon wish list. I think there's only one item up there now. But occasionally, from time to time, I'll put technological items that we require to keep going here at What on Earth is Happening. And if you want to donate that way, you can click that button on the right, which I think is a great way to donate to the effort because you know what you're getting us. There's no monetary exchange. It's an exchange of a physical item that will be put to use here. All right, that's being said, let's get to your questions, your comments, your requests for clarification. We're going to, of course, take your calls on Discord. Let me jump into the Discord call-in room. And let me get my headset on for that purpose. All right, ladies and gentlemen, questions at whatonearthishappening.com, whatonearthishappening.com/Discord. Please follow the simple rules in the welcome area, okay? So let's go to your calls. Let's hear from, let's see, let's go to, how about if I take things in alphabetical order today? I haven't really ever done that. So let's take things in alphabetical order. Let's go to 100th Monkey. 100th Monkey, you're live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome to the show.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear.
Awesome. So, I don't know. First off, I just like to say I love your style.
Thank you.
Because that's exactly how I think. I'm from the same area as you. I'm from Lancaster.
Right.
I know what it's like dealing with these people, and it's just, I wish I could unload like that.
Well, you know, go on, BitChute or Library or YouTube even, and just, do it. Or just record yourself first. I always tell people, if you're questioning, getting started, putting your voice out there, just record yourself, through your computer. Do a little piece of a podcast and play it back and try to do better the next time, refine it a little. When you get a little bit comfortable, then go live. That's all it takes, man.
No,
yeah.
I want to do it with the people in real life. Like, they need to hear it.
Guess what?
Like, grab them by the shoulders and shake them up.
I agree. We got to do that in 3D reality as well. But you reach more people who are a little on the fence and maybe are, a very fertile ground for planting seeds when you do it digitally. You might reach way more people than you ever would in person. That's why I say do it in the digital space. But either way works.
Well, I did have a couple questions for you.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I don't think you covered them. Forgive me if you did. But one of the things I noticed with like these society members is they like to use hand signals to communicate.
Sometimes.
I catch them doing it. Yeah, sometimes out of the corner of my eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's traditional in certain secret society networks. Satanic orders generally do not do that. I've never had or been privy to any secret hand gestures or hand shakes. Freemasonic orders generally do tend to do that. Some Rosicrucian orders may have that. I don't know. Maybe some Thelemic orders do that. Order OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, may have that. I'm not really a member of any of those types of groups. I've attended some theosophical meetings. I've attended some meetings of, OTO affiliate orders, but never really became members of anything like that. In Freemasonry, they'll often press a knuckle, depending on which degree, or they'll grip the wrist instead of the hand, do a deeper shake, a wrist grip instead of a hand grip. And there's many. You can look them up. You can go online and look up Freemasonic grips or handshakes, and it is true that some of these, lodges do use them. But I personally wouldn't really concern myself with that aspect of it, because it's really the mindset that is more important. But what did you witness, if you don't mind me asking?
Right. Well, the times that I've noticed it is like they've been doing it behind my back. So I know that they're doing it, but I don't actually get to see what exactly they're doing. If that makes sense. Yeah.
They could very well be members of the same fraternal order or potentially occult order. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me a bit if more people like that are out there than we would ever suspect. There's a lot more membership in this way of thinking and being inculcated into these orders than anybody would suspect. Again, when I went into some of the rituals back in the late 90s, there were people I never would have expected attending satanic ritual meetings. There were people who were involved in politics. There were people who were bankers. There were military personnel at them. There were doctors, lawyers, engineers, school teachers, athletes. I'm telling you, literally, you name the area of human endeavor. And high-level position people. Not like just, I'm talking like not a teller at a bank, like a bank manager at the Satanist ritual. Okay? At the satanic ritual home, attending as part of the grotto. All right? I'm talking like administrators of hospitals showing up. Not like a nurse. Although there were those level people as well. They're from all over. When Jay Parker first said there's 40 million dark occultists that run the show, I thought he was crazy. I no longer think that. I no longer think those numbers are super exaggerated or inflated. That sounds about right. Sounds about right. So
yeah, I noticed they're not everyone, but they're like everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Especially in this area. And he brought up the OTO, which is interesting because I read an article, and I think this happened in the late 90s, but the one up the OTO Lodge in Philadelphia.
Are you referring to Thalesis Lodge? 'Cause I have attended Thalesis in Philly, and it seemed like that they were a pretty decent group of people who were, kind of on a quest for personal knowledge. I wouldn't say that they had high-level knowledge of what's really going on and how it all feeds up in through the occult networks. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, well, listen to this. It's you can look this up. It was like back in the late 90s, the one up in Philadelphia, they got raided by the police, and they found like a 10-year-old boy that they had in a coffin. They had him outside in a coffin for I think 2 weeks.
Well, then I want to say I do not believe that this was Thalesis. I was just talking about a OTO lodge that I attended. It was kind of in the Northern Liberties section of the city. I don't in any way want to say I'm saying that that's affiliated with this. It could be some rogue OTO organization that had gotten involved in some crazy activity like that. But it wouldn't surprise me that any occult order or joining group goes rogue. That's why it's not really a good idea to join. Anything that has membership, joining, dues, all of this stuff, that could easily turn into a cult at any given time. That's why What on Earth is happening. It's not an organization. This isn't even an organization. This is a show that I do weekly. That's what on Earth is happening is. It's the name of my website, and it's the name of a show that I do weekly. And that's all it ever has been. Okay? The whole point here, folks, is don't join anything. Be an individual. Be an individual. Stop joining groups. Groups can easily turn into cults. Groups lose their morality far, far easier than an individual will lose their morality. Okay? That's the whole problem, is that people want to join groups and clubs. There ain't no group or club here, folks. I'm trying to give you the techniques of cults so that you open up your mind, make yourself aware of their techniques, okay, that they use on other people, and stop allowing yourself to be susceptible to those mind control techniques of cults. Why would anybody who wants to have a cult tell you all the techniques that cult leaders use to get people to join cults and keep them there? I'm trying to explain to you, don't ever do that. Don't ever make your mind so weak that you join a cult. That's what I did in the past, until I strengthened my mind to come all the way up out of that and then learn all of their techniques. I not only came up out of it, I went 180 degrees in the opposite direction and became a person who is so anti-cult that I can teach other people how to make themselves cult-proof. That's what the whole goal of What on Earth is happening is. Not to have followers. I don't want anybody as a follower. That creeps me the hell out. Followers, I want individuals. I want people to be their own individuals that come to accurate conclusions. And then do your own work. Don't tell other people what they should be doing. Am I on here? I'm telling you, you should be doing something other than nothing. That's about all I do here on What on Earth is Happening. I don't go and say, you know what, I heard that David Icke the other week, and I think he could be doing this so much better. Who gives a shit what I think? David Icke's doing something, I'm talking to all the people out there who are sitting back watching other people complaining, nitpicking, and they're not doing a fucking thing themselves. That's what I'm talking about. That's who I'm attacking, Mm-hmm. The only thing I'm saying for people to do is to stop doing nothing. And that's what most people are continuing to do, exactly nothing. So, 100th Monkey, anything else for us?
Yeah, I mean, I just going off what you said, I studied law and I started bringing lawsuits against the police and the government, and it turned out bad for me.
With qualified immunity, that's going to be very difficult because these people are shielded against immoral behavior.
I understand qualified immunity, and I've beaten it. I've even beaten judicial immunity, which is absolute immunity, except when a judge is acting in an administrative capacity. And I was going after some judges with that little loophole there.
And you said it got you in
started
some trouble. How did that manifest?
I started getting threats and
Right.
stalk.
Yeah, because that's what these people want to do, even if you attempt to beat them at their own silly games.
Right.
You know, then they want to actually do violence to people because they have no argument. All they are a group of thugs. They're violent thugs.
Right.
That's all government is. That's all government ever has been. It's violent thugs who think that they're God and want to tell you if you don't go along with their way, it's going to be violence done unto you. That's all these clowns have ever been. That's all they are now. That's all they ever will be until the day humanity stands up and says, we're not taking your fucking bullshit thuggery anymore. And we're going to do anything that is required to stop you. And again, you can go as nuts as you want with your imagination, folks, you know, about what that's going to entail. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I stopped, because like I try to do the right thing and do stuff for the movement in real life, but I'm not gonna die for people out here that don't even understand what I'm doing, let alone appreciate it.
Yep. You know, I look at it like I'm certainly not going to die for them, but I'll die for the truth. I'll die for the truth, and I'll die for what's right. See, this is, thank you, 100th Monkey. Great points that you brought up. I want to add a little bit of an addendum to some of that. You know, folks, you got to stop saying that this is for, everybody's got to stop saying and believing that any of this is for other people. Okay? None of this is for other people. Okay? None of it. Oh, what are you pointing to? The bulb's in the way? Yeah, my clown horn's in the way in the corner. Folks, you got to stop saying that it's for other people. This isn't for other people. We have to make this about the love of truth. This is why truth comes first in the Trinity: truth, love, freedom. Why does it come first? Let me explain the ordering of truth, love, freedom again, okay? The reason it's truth, love, freedom in the whole, you know, saying that I've put together regarding what's going to really set humanity free. Truth is always there. It's what is. That's it. That's all it is. It's first. It's first principles. They're always there. They can never go away. Love has to be the love of truth. It's not the love just of people, of individuals, even of self. It's the love of truth. It's that order. Truth is existing, self-existing, objective and inherent to creation in the universe. Then love of truth, agape, has to come second. That's what drives everything that we do with our will, with our actions. That's why that's inborn, inside the heart. That comes second. Truth is self-existing. What drives you to recognize that and recognize what's right is care. That's love of truth, agape. Truth, love, then freedom will express as a result of knowing that and behaving like that in the world. That's why it's the third part of the trivium, the holy trivium process. Truth, love, freedom, in that order. You can't take them out of order any more than you could take the trivium out of order. That's the higher level trivium. Truth is the grammar. Love is the logic. As contradictory as that sounds, that's exactly what it is. Because without love of truth, you can never really help to understand what it means. And then freedom is the rhetoric stage, the action. Truth, love, freedom. Never take those things out of order. You know? So let's move on to another caller. Let's hear from AR. AR, you're live on What on Earth is Happening? Questions and clarifications. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Mark. You hear me?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Too loud or it's okay?
No, you're perfect.
Okay, nice. I want to talk about the cause and the symptoms.
Okay.
And excuse my English because I'm...
No worries. Take your time. AR, you still there? You were breaking up a little. Just repeat that last part, please.
And one because I see a lot of symptoms that people
AR, you're having difficulties with your internet connection, it looks like. All right, we'll come back to AR. I apologize for that. Looks like you just weren't on a reliable internet connection. Let's go to Aaron. Aaron, you are live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome.
Hey, Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, I just wanted to let you know, first of all, I definitely agree with what 100th Monkey says. I love the style, and I think that this is the style that we'll need, especially now with how fast things are going down the gutter.
Yeah, we'll see. You know,
People need to be shaken up.
I could really only stay true to myself, and to be honest, this is my real personality. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of anger underneath because of how bad the situation of the world is, but I can also get really silly as far as my whole, you know, comic mindset, my sense of humor. So what you're seeing is actually really me. So.
Well, I wanted to share with you an experience I had, and I was curious if you've seen the same thing or anything similar.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, we know this whole COVID thing is full of psyops, full of dark occult rituals, and after listening to your show for years and seeing all the symbology that you've shown, like with Freemasonry and some of the phrases they use, seeing like, a lot of things that I wouldn't have seen before and most people aren't seeing. But in a Whole Foods that I went to a few weeks ago, I heard a phrase used that was that you told us about in a show about Freemasonry, the phrase "on the square."
On the square, yes. Yep.
Yeah, so you know how in grocery stores now they have like those squares and those X's on the
Right.
floor where you're supposed to stand while you wait
Mm-hmm.
at the checkout. Yeah, they had these blue squares on the floor in front of each checkout aisle. And the lady standing there kind of managing it, she kept saying to everybody, "Guys, please get on the square. If you're not on the square, stand on the square."
Right. I
And,
mean, I don't know if that necessarily translates to that person being in any way affiliated, but there are certainly probably elements of this that could be being conducted to be the way that they actually come out in real life by occult groups and even people very influential in occult organizations. It wouldn't surprise me. I think in that
Yeah, I was
instance, it probably just is, you know, their policy and their floor is set like that, you know, so.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, chances are she has no clue what that means. But I was thinking about it would be interesting that a phrase like that would make it from high level Freemasonry all the way down to a local Whole Foods. Then I was thinking about Whole Foods now is owned by Amazon.
Right.
Jeff Bezos is one of those guys who's been to Epstein Island, so who knows? But yeah, I'm seeing all kinds of psyops and symbolisms, and even like the phrase social distancing. The first time I saw that, like it kind of hit me in my gut before I even had a chance to think about what it meant or what they were trying to tell us it meant. Like, of course, they want us to think it means, oh, stay 6 feet apart for your safety. When I saw the words practice social distancing in big red letters, I knew right away, oh, they're trying to reinforce separation. They want us isolated. And that's one of the first cult techniques that you talk about
That's
is
right.
isolation.
There you have it, right there. They don't want people coming together and getting connected. It's an oxymoron in terms to begin with. If you're being social, you're not distancing. They don't want people
Exactly.
coming together specifically in pubs, restaurants, bars, things like that, because that's where people discuss ideas. That's where people, you know, check with each other about what they think and what's going on. And they can't have that in this because the contradictions would manifest themselves and the official narrative would fall apart much quicker. That's why they can't have that. So great
Yeah, I
points,
agree.
Aaron. Yeah,
Thank you, Mark.
you got it. Absolutely. And, you know, I wouldn't surprise me if a lot of this is being conducted as ritualistic mockery. You know, again, that's what these people actually think of you folks. What I told you really happened. That is an individual who is a Satanist, who is connected with higher level Satanists, who are in higher level positions of power in the world. And that is what they think of the people of the world. That's what they think of the people who say that they're trying to do something. Okay? Imagine what they think of the average retard. Imagine what they think of the average total mentally inept human being that knows nothing of what is going on in the world. This is what they think of the effort on the part of the people who say they know what's going on. They think that you're that big of a clown. And look, I'm not talking about necessarily my own viewing audience, especially the people who call in. The callers tend to be pretty good. I think everybody needs to get more active, but I don't necessarily disagree with the Satanist contention that's our side. That's our team, folks. Okay. I wouldn't say it's any different. That's the team's archetype. That's our side, our team's archetype. And again, I don't even like to say that I'm part of that because, it's like it's a loose conglomeration of individuals that are scattered to the four winds of the earth. But could I really disagree with them? No, I'm sorry, I really couldn't. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobo the Clown is on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mark.
Hey, Bobo, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for doing what you do. I'm a long-time listener. First time been on the air. Calling from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
So we share a border. So I'm literally less than a mile away from City Hall in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Okay.
And I'm actually right by our Masonic Hall, which is kitty corner from our courthouse, which is on King and Queen Street.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of Masonic symbolism right there.
Yep.
And I've actually been inside the Masonic Hall because every 12 years they host an open house. And
they don't have an average tour that you can go in and take at any time, like on week?
It's every 12 years.
Oh, wow. See, here in Philadelphia, the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania that sits right next to the City Hall here in Philadelphia in Center City is open to the public on the weekends. They do tours. And it might even be, I don't even know if it's every day. It's definitely on the weekends. And the members of the public can go through a pretty extensive tour of the entire temple.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's worth doing. It's very worth doing.
So ours actually has the Eastern Star and the Masons in the same building.
Yes.
And as I said, once every 12 years, one day on, I believe it's a Saturday. It might be a Sunday, though. I think it's a Saturday. Anyone is welcome to go, and you're welcome to go into every room except for a couple rooms on the third floor.
Right.
But they will take you to the third floor.
Okay.
And I talked to them, and I told them to take care.
Right.
And then they sent me a recruitment letter in the mail.
Interesting. So, maybe they took your little cryptic message to them that maybe you knew a little bit and you were interested, so again, it's a crapshoot. It's a dice roll of what quality of people are going to be involved in any Masonic organization. Some of them are decent people who do understand the philosophical allegory that underlies the Freemasonic symbolism, and know that that's about true morality and true right and wrong. And some people don't, some of them don't, and they use it as a networking tool to just get what they want selfishly in the world. And some of the people who join Masonic lodges have absolutely no idea what Freemasonry is and don't care. And some try to do a good job in conveying the real underlying esoteric message of Freemasonry to the initiates of the order. I would say that the latter is few and far between, though. I would say that it has largely degenerated into a networking tool, which is not what it is intended to be. That's what some people insist and think and believe that it's intended to be, but that's not what it's intended to be. It is intended to teach morality to people, true objective morality to people, so that they stop taking part in objectively immoral actions and deeds and works in the world. But all you got to do is ask yourself, what has Freemasonry produced in the world, to understand how it's largely being used? And that's why I say just, be careful getting involved with any group. Do what you want, of course, but
so
I would take a cautious approach. Yes.
Sorry, I'm sorry for talking over you. Little delay. I found you through Manly P. Hall, who is also a Canadian. So I've seen all your work. I'm a big fan. I want to say thank you, and I want to get a couple quick takes from you on a couple subjects.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm not sure if you know this, but Canada had a mass shooting back in April during the start of the
I heard a minor
lockdown.
amount about it, not a whole lot, but a little bit.
So that was in Nova Scotia.
Mhm.
Guy went on a big killing spree,
Mhm.
and they decided to ban almost all rifles and shotguns in Canada,
Yep.
taking effect now, and everything will be confiscated within less than 2 years from now.
Well, that's going to put Canadians in a position like, Australians are in right now. And you know what? If you guys let it happen, I hate to say it, but you're asking for it, and it's like I personally think that anywhere where guns are banned should already be an open rebellion. Period. That's my take. As soon as a government ban guns, they are announcing they have evil intention toward the citizenry, and I think that calls for an open physical revolt in any area of the world that bans guns, personally. And that should be not only every American's approach to it, that should be every human being's approach to physical firearms.
I have the exact same view of it. So just today, Trump's brother died.
I heard about this, yes. It was actually yesterday. He passed away, at his home. Apparently, he had health problems going on for months. The family's being very private about the actual cause of death and what he had, keeping that pretty private and close to the chest, because I think, they don't want to appear, this whole idea of, if you tell people how you were sick, that's a sign of weakness. It's utterly ridiculous. But, they're choosing to just totally remain private about, what he actually died from. More likely than not, it was some form of cancer or other debilitating disease that was progressive, and he died fairly rapidly. I think the onset of illness was probably several months ago, and he just succumbed to it, yesterday.
And I was just wondering if you're possibly thinking that might be used to set up a situation where Biden lives through the election and then dies before any possible presidency could happen, or dies before an election. And because this whole mail-in ballot voting, whether people not knowing who it's going to be on election night,
Right.
If they might claim it's one party on election.
And they're going to try to massively rig this to their outcome. I've said before that I don't really feel that they intend on allowing Trump to take a second term because of the interference at some levels that he has conducted. That's why, once the intelligence agencies installed him because of the type of polarization that they knew he would provide publicly between political affiliations, they intended to uninstall him rather quickly and then put someone else there in his place. Efforts to do that have largely failed. And I don't think that they even intend to allow him to take a second term. I think that they will go so far as to stage a military coup if they have to, or an assassination possibly. I don't think that they're going to let this person take a second term. That being said, I also don't think that he's really effective in communicating ideals of freedom and really embodying ideals of freedom, or really doing anything to really hurt these people who are really in control in the deep state. And certainly not in the occult behind the deep state. So I don't think the person's enlightened enough. I don't think he's knowledgeable enough. I think he's very egotistical and thinks that he knows when in fact he doesn't. Have all the ego about it you want, man, when you do know. But when you don't know, don't try to say that you've, absorbed all that knowledge and you have it within you and that you're going to go out there and be Superman, because quite frankly, Trump's the farthest thing from that. He's the farthest thing from it, and all the people who are putting their faith in him, you're going to be roundly and sorely disappointed by the result you're going to get. No, don't put faith in one individual, okay? Have I ever told anybody to put any faith in me to change the world? I've told you I can't do it. I've told you I'm incapable of doing that, and I don't have that power. Over and over and over and over and over again. I've begged for help. Because maybe if there was 10,000 of people at my level of knowledge and commitment worldwide doing it like this, maybe we'd be putting a dent in the mindset of humanity. Maybe. I mean a little dent. There isn't even a micron deep scratch in the surface of humanity's ego. Because there's still really only one Mark Passio. There's a few people doing really, really good work. But I'm telling you, man, like I said, I could count them on one hand. And we need 1 million If we had 1 million people doing the great work at my level, which admittedly I say it's not even, if I had more help, I could probably do it at an even way bigger and better level than I have. I'm my own worst critic. I don't need anybody telling me to do anything differently because I'm my own worst critic, folks. Ask anybody. Okay? I'm harder on myself than I am on anybody else. But the whole point is, I thought by this point there'd be 1 million people doing this way better than me. And then I look and I have this conversation with people on my staff all the time. I look at all the work that's out there and I'm like, holy shit, I may be the person who's offering the truest analysis of the situation and the best solutions that anyone has ever provided. And that is ultra horrifying to me. Do you understand how ultra horrifying it is that I may be the person who has the best analysis and solutions to this problem when there should be 1 million people all talking about this analysis and these solutions in the mind and how to change the human mind and heart and then change human behavior and have it dead on point, right on point, and be teaching that out there publicly in a big way. There should be at least 1 million souls at this point in the year 2020 doing that better than Mark Passio ever could, so that people go, who the hell is Mark Passio? There's these 100 people that I know doing this type of work. I don't even know the guy you're talking about. That's what I want to happen. And it isn't happening. And I think about that and I'm horrified by that. I'm like, if this is the best you got, we're in big trouble. We are in ultra big fucking trouble, folks. If what's sitting in the ass that's sitting in this chair is the best one you got doing this work, we're in big fucking trouble as a species. Real big trouble. Okay? So.
Yeah. One last question.
Yeah, sure.
And thank you very much for what you do. I will definitely keep calling in. As I said, watched every show. I agree with 99.99% of everything you say. Just one last take. Ghislaine Maxwell, that went in the news and right out the news.
Yes.
What do you think happened with that?
So repeat the question one more time.
Ghislaine Maxwell, she got caught.
Yes.
It was everywhere in the news for one day.
Right. And now gone. And you don't see anything of her, no pictures, nothing. Right.
Yes.
Okay. They will never cover it. You'll never see it covered. Okay? They intend to stage a coup, make that the whole thing, and never have any attention toward that. Here's the thing. And Bobo the Clown, thank you for the call. Great points that you've brought up. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain about this cult. They're not going to draw attention to their own crimes, period. They are not going to. The people have to do that. There was a march in Hollywood a few days back about, pedophilia, especially in Hollywood, but not just there, throughout the world, called Save the Children. And, the whole point is here, folks, grassroots efforts are going to get the word out. Spreading the documentary Conspiracy of Silence are going to get the word out. Spreading the book, The Franklin Cover-Up, is going to get the word out. Okay? Well, you know what's not going to help? What's not going to help is the mainstream media. If you're expecting them to cover this and talk about it, you're going to wait forever. You'll be a skeleton rotting in the dust, turning to dust and blowing away in the breeze. These people are not going to expose their own crimes because the media is the cult. This is what people still have failed to come to the accurate understanding of. All the people say, I believe what the media is telling us about coronavirus. You don't still understand yet. They are the satanic cult, ladies and gentlemen. That's the cult. That's their members. Like Mia Brzezinski, the daughter of Zbigniew Brzezinski, that says, telling people what to think is our job. The trash from her trash father, Zbigniew Brzezinski. This is who the cult is comprised of. This is the cult. Anderson Cooper, CIA agent, cult member. This is the cult. All the people on all of the nightly news, these are the cult members. They're low-level Satanists. They are paid media propagandist whores that are involved at a low level or just on the take and just accept they're the kind of trash that just takes money to lie to people. And you could call that a rank and file member of the cult. We got to stop calling these people professional journalists. They're cult members. That's what these people are. And you know what else? Who else are cult members? The people who believe them. The people who believe them are also members of the cult. That's the congregation of the cult. They're not members, they're the congregation, you know? And that's what they are, clown shoes, as you see there in the background. They're clown shoes, ladies and gentlemen. It's just amazing that people still yet do not understand this. Ladies and gentlemen, we heard from Bobo. Let's hear from Bobo Lena. Bobo Lena, you are live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome. What do you have for us?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. I have 2 questions for you tonight.
You got it.
The first one is, what is your take? I'm from Sweden. What is your take about that we don't have any lockdowns here?
Yeah, I mean, it's great because it was a control. That's a scientific control for the entire dynamic, you know? And again, I don't think that there's not an illness. I don't think the illness is what they insist that it is. You know, I think that this is some type of an attack on the immune system through a toxin, for sure. However, I don't subscribe to the virus theory as it exists in mainstream science. I think I've read enough scientific papers and literature that is peer-reviewed in peer-reviewed science journals to come to the informed, educated conclusion that viruses don't work the way that we are told that they work by mainstream publications and mainstream science. I don't really care what anybody thinks of that conclusion. You can believe whatever the hell you want. But I say that my conclusion is informed because I do stay abreast of scientific literature, whereas most people don't, you know? So, you know, I think it's at least a good control based on taking one type of action versus taking another in response to this illness. And I think that it shows very clearly, you know, you guys aren't having any worse effect than anywhere else. As a matter of fact, it's better than in a lot of other areas of the world that have taken aggressive, draconian containment measures. Which all that's going to do, all those aggressive measures are going to do anyway with mask wearing is compromise the immune system further because people are breathing in contaminants. They're breathing in contaminants that get lodged in the mask. They're breathing in contaminants that they breathe out. That's part of the expulsion, the toxic expulsion system of the human immune system is the breathing out of the air of the lungs. You know, it's the gut, it's the stomach lining, you know, it's the skin, you know, and it's the lungs. That's a big portion of your immune system right there. Sweat is a big part of it. Excretions are a big part of it. Breathing out, expiration is a big part of it. You rebreathe those toxins that you're supposed to breathe out and get them away from you. That's called the exportation of entropy. Entropy are those toxins in the system. The expiration is part of the immune system response of exportation of those toxins, of that entropy. If you prevent that, or if you recycle that entropic toxin, you're going to get sick. That's how, it's common sense, folks, that's how it works. And people will be like, no, I insist that's not how it works. That's untrue. That's doing danger. No, you're doing danger. You, by actually advocating the re-respiration of toxic expiration, you're endangering people, not me. Okay? And again, the people who insist and say, you can't say that or we'll censor you, you're violent trash. That's what you are. You are conducting what is known as worldview violence, attempting to take and censor other people's rights because they don't support the narrative that you support. Okay? And again, I don't do that as a private publisher. That's different. I am privately publishing my results. I'm allowed to do that and keep it to what I want published because What on Earth is Happening is private publishing. A public forum cannot do that because that's an abridgment of freedom of speech and making people make their own informed decisions. If people can't understand the distinction between those things, they're just dumb. They just are just unintelligent people that cannot distinguish between those two dynamics. They think that they're the same and they are not the same. So going back to your question, I think it's great that Sweden did that because it provides a scientific control with a true scientific methodology, trivium-based methodology to look at a control system that did not do the aggressive mitigation and social distancing and mask wearing, draconian mask wearing measures that other imbecilic societies did. Not saying Sweden isn't imbecilic in many, many, many other ways, because it is, as is all governments, all cultures. Sure. Okay. But the whole point is, at least they took the right side on this issue and let the chips fall where they may, and let people build whatever immunity their immune system is going to build to this toxin. I'll call it what it is, a toxin instead of a virus. Okay? Is there a toxin? Yes, there is. What is going to help with that? Building of the immune system. Yes, food and breathing open air and getting sunlight, getting vitamin D3, getting vitamin C, and doing exercise and being out in open air and sunlight and working on your immune system through proper nutrition. There's the old saying, if proper nutrition is present, medicine isn't necessary. And if proper nutrition isn't present, medicine won't help much. Okay? And I'm paraphrasing, but just think about it. If you build the right foods, let your medicine be your food and your food be your medicine. If you're putting the right nutrition into the body, the immune system response will be strong, and you won't need mitigation efforts of so-called medicine. And if you're not doing that, it really doesn't make a difference what drugs, quote unquote, you put into your system through quote medication. It's not going to help much if you don't have proper nutrition. You're going to be continuously sabotaging the immune system and the immune response. So, caller, I hope that gives you an idea of, what I feel on that and answers your question.
Yeah, I just feel a bit suspicious about that Sweden is the only country with no lockdown, and I'm thinking, like, do you think they're gonna roll out like the second wave from here, or is it because there's like a lot of elite connections going to Scandinavia and Sweden?
If they do that, it will probably be caving. It will be the local government there caving to EU restrictions and EU so-called guidelines or mandates. But I think they genuinely made this decision independently, and I don't really think it was a popular one from a globalist perspective. So, but again, I think you could also look at it as they have to give you a part of the truth and make the people make their own determination, because that's karma. That's how karma works. They're telling you constantly what they're going to do. They're giving you alternative information. The people can say, we're not going to have this and we're not going to deal with this lunacy, and yet they don't, because it's the people who are the ultimate clowns. The people are the ones who are clowned out. Okay? And everybody wants to get upset with Mark for saying that. Bobo Lena, thank you so much for the call and comments. Great perspectives there. But folks, everybody wants to say, I'm problematic, and he's so dark and negative because he says, it's the people, it's not and everybody's like, it's the elitists, it's not the people. Stop blaming the people. The people are who is doing this, folks. Blame the elite, not the people. Are you nuts? Folks, I'm just saying they're the orchestrators and they're the manipulators. Do you know who has to make the choice about how to behave in the world? The average person. That's who ultimately controls your freedom, folks. The average person out there in the street. Think about how dumb your average neighbor is. How painfully stupid the average person who walks past you on the street on a daily basis is. They're dumb as a bag of hammers. Dumb as a sack of hammers. Okay? And a lot less useful. Okay? You could do a lot of good things with those hammers. Okay? These people aren't even as useful, and they're about as intelligent as the raw materials that it take to make those hammers. Okay? This is about how intelligent your average person is. That's about how intelligent they are. Real intelligent, folks. I'm not getting the sound I want out of this. Hold on. There we go. Average person on the street, what do you think about, what's going on with the coronavirus and how it's like just all about control measures, and we should really be building our immune systems through proper nutrition? That's about what it sounds like to me out there, you know? It sounds like that to me. You know, and then people get upset with me, you know? They get upset with me. Instead of getting upset with who you should get upset about, the average dumb person all around you, surrounding you at every turn. And guess what, folks? That's who's restricting your freedom. The average dumb fuck, the average dumb human being. It isn't the people at the top. The whole idea, the whole saying, oh, the fish rots from the head. Bullshit. The fish doesn't rot from the head. It rots from the body. Okay? The fish rots from the body, not the head. The whole idea of the fish rots from the head, meaning society's all rotten because the top level of society is all rotten. Bullshit. You don't know what you're talking about, dumb fuck. The fish doesn't rot from the head. It rots systemically from the entirety of the fish body. Okay? From every cell, from the cellular level, that's where it rots from. Okay? What people who say that dumb phrase, the fish rots from the head, they're apologists for all the dumb motherfuckers all around them who are ultimately controlling your life through their ignorance. Their ignorance is what binds your freedom, and you don't want to do the hard work of educating them. Let's call it how it really is. You won't hear that said from anyone else in the world, folks. You won't hear it said like that from anybody else, any other researcher, any other internet personality anywhere on earth. I'll tell you the rotten truth of the matter, no matter how unpopular it is, because I don't give a fuck about you liking me. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here to tell the hardcore truth of the matter. Okay? And the hardcore rotten truth of the matter is the average person is the problem, not the elitists who run the world. They're a symptom. They're an extension of the average person. They are a mirroring of the average person. They are an externalization of what's inside the average person, and that's all they are, and that's all they ever have been. Okay? And if you don't understand that, you know nothing about what's being discussed here on What on Earth is Happening from the very fucking beginning. Go back and listen to the podcasts in order without skipping around, and then you will understand. And I'll tell you what, folks, that's why people want to sit and listen to episodes in the high 200s, you know, episodes in the 220s, 230s, etc. And they want to go, what's wrong with Mark? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with Mark? I don't understand. I don't get why he's so angry. You talk like you got a bag of shit in your mouth, dumb fuck. Okay? I've already told everybody, go back and listen to the whole podcast series in order, or you have no idea what I'm talking about. And yes, it does have to be done. And all the people who say, oh, you don't think we can understand you if you don't listen to the whole thing? No, you can't, dumb fuck. You can't. You might think you do, but you don't. Okay? That's how it really is. Not because I'm saying it, because that's the fact of the matter, objective truth of how it is. Unless you go back and listen to that prerequisite material, which I'm not going to repeat every single podcast. Okay, I can't fit 1,000 hours of material into 3 hours, dumb fuck who knows nothing about math. Okay? You got to go back on your own and listen to those thousands of hours of podcasts. All right? You're not going to understand by just watching one show. The one show doesn't stand on its own. It's backed by prerequisite knowledge. And I guess I have to say that every week. I should say it at the beginning of every show and belabor it like that. It needs to be belabored because people are stupid. A lot of the folks, people say, oh, you're saying that to your viewing audience. No. A lot of my viewing audience is that stupid. I'll say it right to it. A lot of you guys haven't gone and listened to the whole fucking thing in order. And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's why a lot of people don't understand what I'm saying or why I'm angry. You have incomplete information and you think you know. You don't know shit. Even if you've listened to them all, you probably really still don't know shit. You got to go do your own deep research. That's what the Ark is for. You tell me you've taken in a bulk of what's on the Ark, then I'll say you've done some deep research like I have. Anarcho Hellbilly, you're live on What on Earth is Happening. What do you have for us?
Hello.
Hey.
You hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, the last caller gave me some hope because I'm also from Sweden.
Sweden and Australia are really kind of getting active with what's going on in the country. Sweden, as a result of a lot of socialist measures, but then not being on lockdown and seeing the contradiction there. And Australia, because of being on the most aggressive lockdown in the world, I'll tell you, the Aussies, man, are you guys in big trouble. I mean, the Australians, they're all coming for the Ark. They're all coming for all the information now through GIFs, right? GIFs is exploding from the Aussies because now all of a sudden you want to listen, don't you? Now all of a sudden, you want to know, why don't we have firearms? Why'd we give up our firearms? Oh, now what's happening? Enjoy it. Enjoy what you got. Hopefully it'll get even worse. Yep. Hopefully it gets even worse in places in Europe until more people wake the fuck up. And stop worrying about whether firearms are legal in your country and do what's necessary. That's what your population, especially your men, are going to have to make the decision. Because you've been listening to too many dumb fuck people who believe in government and media. And this is what it's gotten you folks. And here's what you sound like to me. That's what you guys sound like to me now. All the people who want to balk at saying, we don't need firearms. Oh, America, they're just gun-toting idiots. Yeah, well, who's the slide whistle blowing chump now? I'm just mocking you by doing it, but that ain't us here in the United States, folks. We're heavily armed. And when it comes time, the government's going to know what we're willing to do. You guys, you're going to put your thumb up your ass and go in a cattle car. And that ain't going to happen here. And guess what, folks? You want to see how violent it'll get? Watch. Watch how violent it'll get. America will show the rest of the world. You are not going to put us in chains as easily as you think you are, motherfuckers. Watch.
Yeah,
but go ahead. Continue. As bad as Sweden is in other areas. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm armed.
The what?
I'm armed. I have weapons.
Yeah, and as well, everyone should. It's a human right.
Yeah.
This isn't a United States right. It's not an American right. It's not a constitutional right. It's a human, natural right. Anybody that still doesn't understand that is completely asleep because they don't understand the self-defense principle. And again, when we get to talking about Thelema, folks, we're going to read Liber Oz, and you got to understand. That's why, if anybody watched Strange Angel, I thought it was one of the best period pieces ever on television from the 1940s, okay? Strange Angel. It was on, I think it was HBO, okay? I might be wrong. It might have been some other network. But it was about, the rise to prominence of the person from JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories, which was Jack Parsons, who was an occultist and a friend of L. Ron Hubbard, who communicated with Aleister Crowley, who, sort of began the philosophy of Thelema as it is now known and called. We should go into Thelema big time on this show. I think that that television show was canceled not because it wasn't popular, because it was a big underground popular series. Okay, it was canceled because it was the first time publicly on television, on public television, that the document Liber Oz was ever read publicly to the people of the world. Okay, and the occultists that run the world, the powers that be, said we cannot have anybody looking into this and understanding this. Because then they're going to really understand, we're not slaves. Rights exist to stop people who are thwarting other people from the exercise of their rights. We can't have that on public television. Forget it. Even cable. We got to snuff that out as quick as possible. I highly recommend people check out, the first 2 seasons called Strange Angel. It should have went into multiple seasons, and it ended just when Parsons meets Hubbard. And building up the next season, and then they cancel it right then and there in a cliffhanger, because they don't want people understanding true Thelemic principles, because the self-defense principle is deeply enshrined in the Thelemic philosophy. And we're going to talk about it here on What on Earth is Happening and get into it deeply on future episodes. So, caller, anything else you'd like to bring up or any questions that you have?
I have a question about the 5D people, the fifth dimension
Okay.
people who are I have come across, and I really don't know what to think about.
So you're asking if I think that higher dimensional entities are actually influencing events in the world, are real, are influencing events? Would that be a fair summation? Do they?
It's more about these people who say that the fifth dimension is coming to Earth.
Oh, like that there's an ascension to another dimension coming? Yeah, I don't necessarily buy into that whole new age woo-woo, you know? This whole thing that this is about like physical ascension to another place, there's not going to be any bifurcation where the good people go one place and the bad people stay here, folks. This is the whole, it's just a new age take on the Christian rapture concept is all that it is, okay? Don't hold out your hopes for stuff like that. You know what it is? It's a stand down tactic. It's a stand down tactic to get people to stand down from taking real world action based on real world knowledge. This is what Q is about. This is what the New Age movement is about. This is what the fake law of attraction of, oh, don't think about that bad stuff. It'll manifest if you think about it. No, you're just a dumb, ignorant person who doesn't know what's going on in the world. Okay? You have to think about it. You have to consider it. You have to understand it deeply. You have to know what led to the current condition if you're going to ever change the current condition. You don't know the causal factors that led to it. That's not the law of attraction. That's called being a dumb, ignorant, new age fuck. Okay? And I'll say it nicer in other places, but here I'm going to just say it how it is. Here, this is what has happened to you. You've been clown shooed. There's the new verb for what's been done. You've not only been clowned, you've been clown shooed. Now it's a verb, folks. Okay? Might be the first person that ever said it like that. You've been clown shooed. Okay? And the space that you're holding, as they say in the New Age movement, holding the space, it reeks of clown shoes, man. It really reeks of clown shoes. Okay? So let's get out of this notion that the blue avians are coming for us. It's a CIA psyop, folks. The Q and the white hats are coming to save us. It's a CIA psyop, folks. That there's fifth dimensional entities coming to save us. It's a CIA psyops, folks. It's all bullshit. All to get you to do nothing but sit there and hope and pray. See, that's all it's about, folks. It's about sitting there, hoping and praying that something other than yourself will come to your rescue. And guess what that does to you? It makes you a lazy, do-nothing piece of shit. That's what it does to the people who subscribe to that. Only action based in truth and true care will ever get us out of this mess. I don't give a fuck what you think, how that offends you, what religious affiliation you belong to that offends your bullshit religion. That's what you have. You don't have truth. You don't have true care. You have bullshit religion. Bullshit religion is what you have. I'm not talking to any of the callers here today. I'm talking to people out there in woo-woo land. Okay? You've been clown shooed, punks and punkettes. You've been clown shooed. All right? Embrace your clown shoeing because that's what has happened. You know? And, you know, I got to make a joke out of it and you. Otherwise, I'd sit here and fucking cry all show. I wouldn't even explode with rage if I really showed you how I think. I'd sit here with my head down on this desk and weep incessantly. That's what's really going on inside of me. Because of how dumb people are. And what they're willing to buy. What they're willing to buy into. Thank you. I need it too. I really need it too. A good, healthy, fruit-based smoothie. Excellent. Give me a second, because I'm just going for this right now. Yeah. Thank you. I need this. I won't even get the straw out of here, because I just want to gulp it. Oh, yeah. Oh, the smoothie's awesome. The stink of clown shoes, not so much. I gotta make it the farce that it is, folks, because that's what it is. Can you one of you guys hand me a tissue, please? There's some right here on that table. Thank you. If you can reach it behind the camera. If not, don't worry about it. Right here. If it's possible to get to it without moving anything. All right, great, thanks. Okay, so. See, this is the thing, folks. It's a combination of rage and disgust. Thank you. Rage, disgust, and really the word is contempt. That's what I really have for people out there. And guess what? People will say, oh, you shouldn't have that if you're really, truly spiritual. Guess what? I don't give a fuck about your definition of spirituality, okay? I don't really give a fuck what you think of it, okay? Once again, I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to be popular. I don't care what people think about me. I know what the truth is. And that's what I serve. I don't serve people. I serve the truth. That's what my love is for. My love is not for people. My love is for the truth. My love is for what is right. My love is for true morality, true objective morals. Harm none, do what you will. Anybody else try to stop you from doing what is your right to do? That's not their right. They're in the wrong. And this is the world that we live in. People that think other people have the right to do things they have no right to do, and people that think that they have the right to stop other people from doing things that is their right. Let me say that again. We live in a world where people believe that certain other people, calling themselves government, have the right to do things that they do not have the right to do. So they support immoral, violent behavior of government and enshrine it as a right when it is not. And then they also support those very violent people's, quote, right, which isn't a right, to stop people from doing things that is actually the right of those other people that they're stopping from doing those actions. And that's not a right on the people who are stopping them from doing it, who are thwarting other people's rights. That's not one of their rights to do that. So we live in a world that's completely inverted, satanically inverted and upside down. People believe certain other people have rights that they don't, and they believe that people who do have the right to do things, that other people should come and stop them from doing those things that are actual rights. That is called Satanism. I don't care what name you want to euphemize it. There's two things that it really is. And they both begin with S. It's Satanism and it's slavery. And both of them are immoral. And no one even has the right to immorally do them or even immorally condone them. If you are condoners of those things, you yourself are immoral and wrong and have no right to condone it. And the people who a lot of the people who even listen to this show still don't understand that today. And in all honesty, that really makes you a piece of fucking garbage. Really, that's what it is. And I have to try to even lighten it and just totally scathingly make fun of it because of how sad and immoral it is. Otherwise, I'll just be screaming all day. So let's interject some, scathing humor into it to tell people what they really are, which is a bunch of fucking clowns. All right? Let's go to Sybil D. You're live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome.
Hey, man. Hello.
Hey.
You hear me?
Yes.
I just want to start off by saying I appreciate you putting out real shit and standing behind what you say always.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sorry for interrupting the show. I apologize because I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to say minutes ago I was on this call and I left because you just made me realize I really didn't have the balls to speak in public when I thought I had them. So thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for making me realize that, and thank you for getting me, helping me get rid of my ego.
I appreciate that. If I could give somebody a little bit of a kick in the rear end to get them motivated and doing something, then I've done my job. And that's what on Earth is Happening has largely been about. Folks, you know what? I mean, even the whole public teaching work that I've done, I think I could even do better by private mentoring. And I think I'm going to start down into the not so distant future doing private mentoring to try to really build one-on-one skill sets and knowledge with individuals that I think could really become powerhouses in this whole endeavor. I think if I don't even try to maybe create a couple of, younger individuals, help influence a couple of younger individuals to really do this work at a high level, like I feel like if I die and leave this world, I haven't really done my job. Instead of having a child and doing that, it's like replacing yourself by conveying a deep portion of your knowledge and skill sets into another person. Then I'll really have done my job of duplicating myself. And I think I could somewhat influence that by teaching at a distance like I have been, but I think I really have to reevaluate some things and maybe even take some time off in the future to get into deep private mentoring. Like maybe even take off a year and say, over the course of this year, I'm going to private mentor 5 people that I choose, and I mean go heavyweight in person here in my home of private mentoring people in a very, very deep way almost every day. That is one of the things that I may do coming up. I've really been giving it a lot of serious consideration because I think that's the thing that is lacking in most areas of human endeavor is mentoring, and I'd say even trying to target maybe people who might be potential mavens of their community and or family and mentor them. So we'll see. It's just an idea I'm kicking around in my head at this point. Let's go to Censor Nothing. You're live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mark, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Mark, pleasure to talk to you, man.
Hey.
I've been listening to you for over a year now, and I just want to say you've helped me so much with the compilation of information. Very consistent, easy to tell that there's no loopholes or missing information. You've got it all, and I preach to you, to everyone I know about you, okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Got Terrence McKenna a bit, but on steroids, definitely.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
All right. That's sweet. So I just wanted to ask you today about emotional authenticity, which is something I believe you have in spades. And it's one of the things that everyone in this movement can use to their advantage. Because when you know the truth, you can't lie about it. People attempt to lie at times. Politicians trying to pass off bullshit, and you can see them in the eyes, and it's pretty tell that there's
you can
no
see how
movement.
fake they are. They're fake pieces of trash.
Man, yeah, absolutely. And you can see it in their eyes because there's no action. They're not convinced. There's no authenticity. They're telling a lie.
That's right.
Now, maybe high degrees, perhaps, of psychopaths or sociopaths can mimic emotions with maybe more convincing stuff to all those fucking sheep, and they can get by with it.
Right.
But in terms of, the truth, if you actually are telling something that you believe, it's not necessarily true what you believe, but for example, religious zealots or something, they can say things and they can they can believe it at their core.
And you could tell they believe it. Right.
Yep. Absolutely. But it doesn't necessarily mean the material is true. So one thing I just want to encourage all our fellow listeners here, as well as just tell you, Mark, thank you so much for your emotional authenticity. It's something that since the moment I saw your work, it's so obvious that you believe and what you're saying is correct. You're not trying to convince anyone. You're not on the fence yourself. There's conviction, and that's one of the strongest things I think we can use to our advantage in this movement.
I totally agree. I think that's a great point. And I think that a lot of people are stuck in a doubting stage. And again, the way that I would personally love to remove all doubt, I've said it a million times, I'd love to be able to just temporarily kidnap that person, take them to a ritual, satanic ritual chamber house, throw them down in the basement or in whatever dungeon the ritual's being conducted in, and let them see what the world really is. Let them see the power brokers that attend, let them see what they do, let them see their mindset, and then all doubt would be removed. But I don't have the power to do that, unfortunately. So there's this satanic doubt that creeps into every area of their minds, of their behavior, of their actions. They're just stuck in this doubting mode, and they can't really come to say that they really know. And I can't make someone know it. I can only put out information, point to what they have to look at, and then if they do their due diligence, they'll come to know it. But if people don't put that work in, you'll be stuck in that satanic level of doubt forever for the rest of your life. And that's the worst place to be, as far as I'm concerned. Knowing a little and saying, well, I don't know, that wishy-washy. Look, even in religion, that's talked about, okay? Even in the whole religious communities, it's said in the New Testament, God looks at the cold and the hot as being, okay, they're authentic, right? Meaning the cold, they're the true psychopaths. They're authentic. They're just doing what they are. They're just behaving as they are. And then the hot, that's the true spiritually fire, awake, lit people. And they're doing what they are. They're putting out into the world what they know. And there's no doubt there. But the lukewarm are the 95% in between. And you know what they're doing? They're scratching their head. Yeah, I don't really know too much about that. And, I'm a little wishy-washy on that. And it's like, that's the worst place to be. And you know what? There's a movie that I love, They Live, with Roddy Piper, who I very thankfully got to meet in person before he passed away. And I kind of kicked him in the ass and said, They Live really isn't, it's not really a fiction. It's an allegory. And I said, why don't you go out there and start telling people that you're really charismatic? I actually said that when I got to meet him here in person in Philadelphia at the Trocadero. And I said, go out and, they'll take it from you. Like, they don't really like me that much. Some people can hear what I'm saying and they can, I don't burn them too hard. They can take hold of that electrical circuit and not get burnt too bad. But most people, they can't hear it from me. I gave him my card. I said, check it out. I said, but you're an entirely different story. You have charisma. People already love you. You're like one of the most loved professional wrestlers of all time. You get out there and start saying this, they'll take it from you, And he said, you know what? I just might start doing that. I have some connections with, obviously, Sean Stone, and, Sean was friends with Alex Jones. A few months later, actually, he shows up on the Alex Jones show doing an interview. And then several months after that, he ended up dead. They don't want big celebrities like that going out and speaking the truth. Yeah. And the people who think that that's coincidence, there goes the slide whistle, But my point is, in They Live, there's a conversation between the main character played by Roddy Piper named Nada and then his friend, who is the black gentleman that he gets in the big famous fist fight with in the alley to try to get the sunglasses on him, being an allegory of trying to help him see the truth. And before that altercation in the alley, they're talking in the construction site, and Piper is telling him his worldview. And the other guy, I can't quite remember his name, but he basically says, hey, I'm always walking the white line. I try not to bother anybody, so nobody bothers me. Meaning he doesn't get involved in all of that, right? He just lives his life. He just tries to make a paycheck. That's it, okay? And you'll hear this over and over. I'm too busy just living my life, trying to make ends meet. Bullshit. You're lazy. You don't want to get involved. You want to stay safe. It's cowardice. That's what he was. He's just a coward. Okay?
Apathetic.
Right. Doesn't care. Doesn't want to know. Too cowardly to get involved. Right? And what does Piper say to him? And this is about the whole idea of the wishy-washy, the lukewarm. It's the worst place to be, karmically. He says, the Piper character, Nada, says to him, the white line is the worst place to drive. Brilliant line. That's where you're going to get clipped from both sides. Okay? You're going to get in an accident from both sides if you drive in the middle of the road. You got to choose a side and know definitively that you've chosen the right side. And remove all doubt. Take all doubt away. Okay? So, continue if you want to. I mean, that was just my take on all of that, but continue if you have any other questions or anything you want to bring up.
Yes, I wish to just firstly commend you there with authenticity. Your anger is appreciated, and it's very difficult to mimic true emotions. So this is why it's excellent to see. You see all these, singular toned speeches by liars, and there's no emotion. There's words. They can use fancy fucking like whatever, but you can cut right through. So, Mark, let me
Yeah,
get
the other
my
thing-
story quickly.
The other thing is,
Go
real
ahead, brother.
quick, before you go to that, is a lot of people cannot display genuine anger. Has so been suppressed, so been buried inside of them that I don't think they've ever had any kind of even a verbal explosion of anger, let alone a physical one. They've never actually gotten that angry. And I say that is soul sickness. That is illness. If you cannot get angry about the injustices that are going on in the world today and how human rights are being destroyed, there is something utterly and completely broken inside your soul. And I don't think people hear me truly when I say that. I mean that the soul, the spirit itself is broken, and people have to really look into that statement and hear what I'm really saying when I say it's broken. Okay? So go ahead.
It's as if a facet of the soul, any emotion, you remove the ability to feel sore happiness. If it were something such a huge emotion like that, and the other chemicals that come along with it in the body, if you were lacking that, it would be very easy to say if someone couldn't feel happiness, they were an incomplete or broken human being. And this only shows that the destruction of care ceremonies are obviously working.
That's right.
As they want to follow the fucking carrot on the string, all that bullshit.
Without a
so
doubt.
Mark, in 2017, I just have a small, pretty interesting encounter.
Sure.
That took place myself in the city of Iquitos, Peru, which is located on the Amazon River. I had traveled to that place with the ayahuasqueros, with the sacred plant medicine ayahuasca, for my own self-help and work. And I have returned for many years now to continue that work, as it has been very effective, I've found, for myself and everyone I've witnessed as well take part in the ceremonies there. So this man I ended up talking to outside of a restaurant in the sun for a couple of hours. The conversation began with him talking to me about world passports, actually, and how he'd renounced his social insurance number and gone down that route to leave England. And he then continued to tell me about a virus that would be unleashed in 2020 by the name coronavirus. He told me about the Jamaica numerical values of the word corona and the 6 letters encompassing it, and he basically told me a lot of the stuff that's been unfolding.
Sure.
Which is pretty wild.
Well, there's definitely people who know about these plans before they're rolled out. I mean, you could just even infer it yourself, intuit it yourself by just taking little hints that they drop out there into society.
Yeah. And to be honest, I was not nearly as well read. With some of the Allah and other themes that he was talking to me about.
Right.
I had seen the Tree of Life and the Tree of Death, and understood some of those themes, which he was talking to me a lot about. But this guy also associated all the virus symptoms with correlating to the effects of 5G. And I know you've got upcoming work that you're going to be doing, so I don't want to go exasperate.
Well, those are really great points to bring up, and I will be covering some of that in future episodes. But there are now scientific papers published in peer-reviewed scientific literature that talk about the direct correlation between 5G frequency fields and the manifestation of certain types of coronavirus in the human body. Is that possible? Absolutely. It's scientifically proven to be possible. I recommend people check out The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Firstenberg, which is a book written, I believe, in the early parts of the 2000 or maybe 2010s. But anyway, that book talks a lot about affecting human health with frequency fields and electricity. So, people like Tesla knew this. People, of course, like Royal Raymond Rife certainly knew this. You could look into a lot of pioneering researchers' work on that. Check out Arthur Firstenberg's work on it. And you could read modern literature that is talking about the very same things through 5G intensity frequency fields. So, all that literature is out there if people want to look at it. The people that don't want to look at it want to remain closed-minded and not aware of what is even possible. So let's do some rapid-fire question and answer now. So, folks, when I bring you on, very briefly, You can say hi, but go right to your question or your clarification request. We want to get a bunch more in before the end of the show. All right, let's go to Klee. You're live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome. Klee, Chlee, however that is pronounced. Unmute yourself and you're live. There you go.
All right. Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on.
You got it.
I've listened to the entire podcast series over the course of six or 7 months a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to get into a long thing about the near Kundalini-like experience I had during that process, but my question is a bit more pressing to me. So it's just based on the truth of what you've illustrated through your podcast series. My question is this: if cause and effect is in operation as it is, and we're in this realm where there's these demon-worshipping psychopaths running the world, and what you've called our society being basically a huge satanic ritual.
Yes.
Nearly every aspect of our life is part of this ritual.
Right.
If we existed in some form before we entered this life in these bodies, my concern is what cause led to this effect? And my bigger question is why? I guess my question is, how could we have ended up in this place?
Great questions.
And is this place then hell?
We're turning it into hell. I would not say that it is forever a hell, but can it become a hell? Absolutely. Okay. So, no better definition of hell exists than something that is eternal, that can never be changed, that is eternally bad, that can never be changed, okay? Where freedom doesn't exist, because no better definition of evil exists than the destruction of freedom, which is the definition of evil that Jeremy Locke put out there in The End of All Evil, okay? So how I would answer this question is, one, this is not hell. This is a place of infinite potentiality where we can manifest anything we want. We have manifested hell. The cause that led to that effect is bad thought forms entrenched in the human soul. Bad thought, wrong thought, manifest wrong conditions. Immoral thoughts leading to immoral conditions. Exactly. My producer is very adeptly displaying that it's been a mindset of clowns, actually. Okay, that's really what it is. Okay, and then here's what people have done: we have accepted the thoughts of the least wise among us. We have accepted the thoughts of all the clowns among us that just want to see the world burn. Okay, and again, they aren't like that coming in. I don't believe in this notion that, just psychopaths are waiting in another dimension and they just all come here. All these bad souls just arrive here. No, they're made here. They are created here through wrong thoughts. And those wrong thoughts lead to wrong actions. I really recommend people still, please read the works of Richard Wetherill. He will help people to understand how everything that happens in the world that manifests things that we say we don't want is a result of wrong thinking. Wrong thinking, incorrect thinking. If you accept an axiomatic premise that is incorrect, and then you base your behaviors on an incorrect premise, your thinking is rooted in a completely wrong way of thinking and doing something, you are going to manifest chaotic results. And you are going to manifest things that are not only incorrect, but are morally wrong. That which is correct as being true is going to lead to what is morally correct, morally true. Okay? And is going to lead to order and freedom. If we accept things that are incorrect and take that into the mind and continue to base our actions upon that which is incorrect, we are always going to manifest disorder, chaos, and slavery in the world. And no, you can't make anyone believe that. It is an impossibility to get anyone to accept that. They have to come to that understanding by deeply, deeply, deeply considering and thinking about and breaking down and analyzing how those dynamics work in the very real world of nature. Okay, and that is how natural law brings to us the consequences of what we put out into the world through our behavior, which is ultimately based on our thoughts. That's why I have said, one of my quotes is, be responsible for everything you create by being responsible for everything that you think. This is how we co-create our shared reality on Earth. It doesn't have to be hell. That's the sickening, saddening part of the whole thing. To the caller, the sickening and saddening part of the entire dynamic is the world doesn't have to be this fucked up. It could very easily be a wonderful, great, magical place for us to live and explore our infinite potential. But we are building a prison of hell instead. We've been given free will to create something wonderful and magical and free and of infinite potential. And instead we said, you know what? We're going to take those Lego blocks of creation and we're going to build a nice prison wall all around ourselves, and then we're going to live in that prison. How foolish, how dumb does a population have to be to think that wrongly, to create that immorally? Here's how dumb. That's about how dumb you gotta be. There's the IQ. And folks, I calculated it with a very specific IQ test, and there was the result. That's the result of the IQ test. That's humanity's IQ right there. Right there. Right. You can't argue with math. You know? That's it, folks. Yeah. Yeah, oh, this must be a size 666. You know? And that's what humanity's wearing, folks. They're wearing the 666, because that's their number. You know? But you can't tell anybody that. They know better. They're wiser. They know how it works. And they're just shit-drooling dumbasses. Actually, they're just fucking clown shoes. That's all they are. That's what Dante meant to write. Wasn't the Divine Comedy. He meant to say, you're all fucking clown shoes. That's what Dante really meant to write instead of the Divine Comedy. His actual first draft was called, You're All Just Fucking Clown Shoes. Okay? Because that's what this place is. It's a big fucking laughing joke. It's not really a joke. It's very serious. But for anybody who really knows what's going on, you gotta just look at all these people around you as just, they're shit clowns. That's it. They're walking shit clowns. They're shit golems. You know? That's it. Bags of fucking shit that aren't even really alive. That's why the dark occultists call them the dead. How could I argue with it? It's so true. And then people go, oh, you still think like a Satanist. No, I just recognize that even psychopaths can speak the truth. That's all. Something can come out of a psychopath's mouth and still be true. See, that's the thing. Here's the thing, folks. Most of you are still lying to yourself. That's why you're not really awake. That's why you're not initiated. That's why you're not enlightened. You're still lying to yourself. You have a false understanding of what enlightenment is. Enlightenment is not flowery bullshit, seeing the world through rose-colored glasses and then blaming everything on the super elitists instead of the average dumb fuck. The average dumb fuck is what created this situation by continuing to propagate bad thinking and breeding new bad thinkers by teaching it to their dumb fucking children that they shat out. And I'm not saying let's go into eugenics and cull the world. I'm saying if we're going to say we're really enlightened and we have the truth in hand, the answer is you got to become a public teacher because there's a bunch of fucking dumb children running around controlling you, controlling everything, and saying we're, as the stupid fucking teenager, we're going to set up and take over the house. We're going to set up and take over the house from the wise parent. And if we let them do that, we deserve whatever they do to us. These are the dumbest, most unwise people who have ever lived all around us. And we're going to just kick back and go, let's let them take the whole fucking world and let the world be run by total fucking clowns. Think about how immoral that would be to do. And this is what people go, oh, the world's taken. I'm not going to do a fucking thing. I'm not going to do anything. You're immoral. That's an immoral position to take. By not getting involved, you're complicit in the evil that has taken the world. And you're going to help it become a worse hell through your inaction. I don't know how much more hammering and beating on the head I got to do to get people to understand how this works. And this isn't directed at any of the callers. I'm directing this out there to the dumb fucks that still don't understand. You know, and it's a lot of my viewership. You have incomplete understanding. You think you know and you don't know. Let's go to Quartzvio. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but anyway, Quartzvio, you're live on What on Earth is Happening. Let's go. You have to unmute yourself. You're unmuted at the server end. Quartzvio. All right. If
Got it.
There you go. There you go. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi. It's Svio. I just changed my front name.
Steve, how you doing, man?
Get in the line. How's it going?
Not bad.
Yeah. They're Golgothans.
For the most part, yeah. It's people who would have been cheering on Christ being nailed to the cross. And again, I'm not an exoteric Christian, folks. I don't believe in religion. It's a story. It's an allegory about a good person being killed while they let an evil murderer go free and roam the earth. That's the whole idea in the New Testament of, you know, them asking on Passover, what prisoner do you want us to set free? And it says in the biblical allegory, with one voice, the people cried out Barabbas. There was no doubt or question who they wanted. They wanted Jesus dead. They wanted the good man dead, and they wanted the evil man roaming free and doing his evil on the earth. They wanted a rapist and murderer to be set free, and they wanted a good man who had harmed nobody but challenged established wrong thinking to be put to death. And then they cheered on the police of the day, the Roman centurions, while they killed an innocent, moral human being. And nothing has changed. Zero has changed. The same people of that day who wore the big red floppy clown shoes and their toga would have been saying the same thing had they been alive today. And the people alive today are saying the same things and advocating for the same violence and the same immoral behavior that they would have been advocating for if they had been alive 2,000 years ago. Nothing has changed in consciousness. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've just currently I've been focusing on a lot of these outed, disgraced Hollywood personas and other personas that we know about that are complete cult members, and just like looking at them, studying like every move they're doing. I've been getting into like studying their microaggressions and their tells and stuff. There's this guy out on YouTube, and he does great behavioral analysis. And now that we know so much about them, now we could really decode a lot of their tells and what really is going on.
Sure.
And
this pedophilia in Hollywood has been going on for decades, folks. Decades, you know? And people on the inside have been trying to tell people, you know, watch the documentary An Open Secret. You know, watch the documentary The Two Coreys. You know, you can go on and on and on.
Yeah, the new one, Out of Shadows.
Out of Shadow. Too. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get the stuntman Mike Smith on the show at some point if I can. I'm going to at least put the word out that I would like him to come onto the show and tell his story. You know, because he saw this Satanism and pedophilia from the inside. So I want to bring people on like that.
I really hope one day maybe Jamie Deluxe could look your way.
Sure, I would have him on for a segment. No question.
I'm not sure he's been exposed to your work fully yet, but
I've seen some of his work on this aspect of what's going on, and it's pretty good. So he makes a lot of connections.
Barb introduced me to him, and Barb really liked him.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have no problem bringing someone like that on. They seem to have done their homework. So.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay. Do you have anything else? Any other questions?
No, just that was all I had
Yeah.
to share. Thank you for
Thank
taking
you
my
so
call.
much. Absolutely. And great
Thank
points
you.
brought up, without a doubt. That people are looking more into the pedophilic aspects of this. You know, the whole Jeffrey Epstein scandal has made people wake up to some of that. People having more time on their hands to study some of this during the lockdown have woken up. That has woken up a lot of people to this. And again, there were big marches in Hollywood. I wouldn't say huge, but hundreds of people, you know, about the pedophilia that is going on within Hollywood and really throughout the world, you know. And again, like I said, we can't wait on the mainstream media. You could tell by looking at some of those marches on Hollywood that it's very grassroots. No fancy signs, you know, like Soros-funded operations, you know. Very grassroots effort, okay? And I'm not saying protesting is the answer either. It was more like an informational outreach, okay? You know, forget protesting and asking your masters to do anything. They ain't going to do nothing. They want you right where they got you. But educational outreach is fine. I'm all for that. You know, help your fellow, human being understand what's going on all around them. You know, bring documentaries. You know, bring An Open Secret. Bring the unfinished documentary Conspiracy of Silence. You know, bring Out of Shadows, etc. You know, this is what people have to see and understand is going on. And you got to look at Shadowgate, how they compromise people, you know, blackmail and compromise. That's what this is all about. That's how they get people voting in the globalist agenda. That's how they get career politicians on their hook. It's what it's all about, folks. And people don't want to learn and look at how it really works, but because they prefer that the world not be the way it is. See, that's the second part of, you know, the initiation method. Stop dreaming. Stop imagining the world to be some other way than it actually is. It goes hand in hand with stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself and stop dreaming. Imagining the world is some other way because you would prefer to live in that world instead of accepting the world as it is and then changing it from there. That doesn't mean you accept that it should stay that way. It means that you have a clear and accurate understanding of how it actually is. And then you work from that point to change it. That's just like the first dictum of initiation, which is stop lying to yourself. You have to accept yourself from where you're at and you start changing yourself from where you understand yourself to be. You don't jump ahead. There's no shortcuts. Okay? And to briefly go back to what not this past caller, the one before him was talking about, authentic. The authentic personality, you know? I look back and I look at my early work and I'm like, man, was I wearing a mask? Man, was I not being genuine to myself because I wanted people to listen. And I knew how brainwashed people are. Folks, this is the thing, folks. You got to actually, in the early going, try to speak to the brainwashed. If I came out this hard-hitting on my earliest shows, nobody would be able to hear it. But that doesn't make what I would be saying untrue. See, that's the thing. This is what you got to know about how emotional brainwashing and mind control work. The people who say, I don't want to listen to that because of how it was delivered, you're the brainwashed. You're the brainwashed. You're the brainwashed. You are the one who has the problem. Just because you don't like how someone delivers truth doesn't mean that the statements they made were untrue. I can listen to someone saying something that is true and still hear it. The delivery does not matter. The veracity is what matters. If you accept that delivery matters over veracity, you've fallen prey to a mind control technique called emotional mind control. And you are the problem. You have the problem. I think this is one of the things that should be taught endlessly. Barrage people with that first. Say, do you think that the truth must be put in a pleasing tone for it to be true? Do you really believe that? Ask people around you, do you think that the truth must be explained in a pleasing tone of voice for it to be true? Yes or no? Be honest. Put that out there to people and say, be honest with yourself, fuckhead. Do you really think that? Is that what you really think? That the tone of voice someone uses changes whether what they're saying is true or not? So I could say the Federal Reserve is basically one huge scheme to rip off the savings of the people of the United States. And I could say it in a totally angry, confrontative voice. Hey, dumb fuck, the Federal Reserve is devaluing your savings and they're robbing you. They're robbing the value of your earnings, of your labor. Like that. And then another person could go, the Federal Reserve is a government-appointed body that is there to protect the purchasing power of the currency of the United States, and they're doing what is in your best interest. Is that going to make the first statement untrue and the second statement true? You really believe that? This is the problem, folks. That's called mind control. And I'm trying to do this to shake you the fuck out of it. Shake you out of it. Because if you believe that just the tone of voice dictates whether something is true or not, let's get a good one in there. I got to get just the right squeeze in there. But that's what you sound like. And this is what you look like. That's what you look like, and here's what you sound like. I'll get it exactly right. There you go. Great. That's it. So you got to get your head out of that level of thinking that just because someone is angry when they say something doesn't mean what they're saying is true. And there's a reason for that deep anger, if it's righteous. Let's go to Chris. Chris, you're live on What on Earth is Happening. Right to comment or question.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
And thank you for your service to truth as a
Thank you.
veteran, coming from a veteran. I had something I wanted to read to you from it's something I wrote. It's about natural law.
Okay.
Natural law is the only law that can rightfully exist. It enforces itself, and as actors we can live with it or go against it at our own peril. To live with it, we develop codes of conduct to live by, principles that are in keeping with those natural laws. And with respect of the individual, there are natural law rights. These rights cannot be taken away by another sentient being, but they can be violated. Justice is when such a violation is made as right as possible under the circumstances. And that's it.
Excellent. I think it sums it up very succinctly, you know? And if more people just put things out there like that, people would come to an understanding relatively quickly that government is slavery and has no right to exist, you know? Because here's the thing, what I can't even fathom is how do all the Christians out there actually believe that they're serving God? If they believe that government authority is righteous and is legitimate, morally legitimate, they can't see the violence inherent in government. They can't see that it's commands of compliance. It's not punishing of the guilty. That's such bullshit. Often government punishes the innocent and lets the guilty roam free, you know? And people still can't see this. That's what you just read is what God's law is about. Screw man's law. Man's law could be as corrupt as the day is long. They could be as corrupt as a human being could become corrupt. Why would we put our faith in that? Why would we put any trust in that? Instead of understanding what the real laws of creation are as far as objective morality is concerned. Why do people think you can't determine and understand that? You can't come to an accurate determination of that. Of course you can. That's what the objectiveness, the objective reality of natural law and morality is all about. They are objective truths. They are not opinions. They are not whims, likes, preferences, or opinions that can change over time. They are immortal principles, eternal principles that can never be taken out of effect in the universe. You know, and this is what we have to try to convey. You know, that this has nothing to do with what some person wrote down. Natural law is not written by a human hand. Natural law is written in creation. It's written in the universe itself. It is written in the human heart. And people cannot grasp that for some crazy reason. They cannot grasp that that is what it is. And until we understand that's what it is, we're going deeper and deeper and deeper into horror and bondage. And folks, I blame a lot of people in the anarchist movement, a lot of people in the freedom movement, because a lot of them are moral relativists. You ask a lot of the people in the freedom movement, do you think morality is objective or subjective? And a lot of them will go, oh, it's totally subjective. Human beings make up their own standards of morality, and it can be different for every person. That is so prevalent in the alleged freedom community that what you are going to have is the freedom to decide whether you go into a left-wing prison or a right-wing prison. That's about it, and you're probably not even going to be able to decide that. So, caller, I think that's really great. And, I think that is what more people really should be out there doing, is just publishing simple things like that. Make it an internet meme, put it out as a little PDF document, record it as a short YouTube video, put it on library. There's a million things that we could do, Let's go to Collet. Collet, you're live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome. Write to comment or question, please. Unmute yourself. You're unmuted from our end. Collet Jared, you're live on What on Earth is Happening.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
All right, I have a question about natural law,
Sure.
consent, and coercion. So, if the self-defense principle isn't used when somebody aggresses upon something that you own and takes it, if you don't use the self-defense principle and consent, whether coerced or through deceit, let that person take it, is that in fact giving it away, making it not theft? I know this sounds like a stupid question. It should be self-evident.
Meaning if you decide that you are not going to take any retribution upon anyone for thieving from you, then
you're gonna let somebody steal something.
That's within someone's rights. You cannot take action on a thief. Okay. However,
is it recognized as theft to the law if you let somebody take it?
Absolutely. That they still broke natural law. Okay. So if someone else witnessed that, I would say they still have the right to treat that person as a thief and all that entails. If you say, I would ask that you not hold them accountable for that because they took from me, I would say you can ask someone else to do that, but I wouldn't say that you can stop them from taking action on them. I'm a little bit more hardcore on thieves when it comes to that, So can you not make it theft? No. But is it your right not to pursue any repercussion upon that individual for the theft that they conducted in the physical world? It is your right not to do anything. But can you tell other people that they can't take action against that person? I don't think you can force them to stand down on action if they witness the theft and want to do something to that person, quite honestly. And guess what? In a society ruled by natural law, I would treat theft brutally. And that doesn't mean in the current conditions that we're talking about with, children taking a piece of bread to survive. Okay. You could look at the actual situation, but guess what? You know what I would treat brutally? People going door to door and taking somebody else's hard won stuff that's on their step because Amazon left it there. I would treat that barbarically. Just to be honest, that's what I would do. I would treat it barbarically. God help somebody if I catch them stealing something from me. They're going to have a problem on their hands. Okay? They're not going to have to worry about the police. That's all I'm saying. So that's the whole thing is, yeah, you can say, I forgive them and I'm going to let it go and I'm not going to do nothing and that's your right. But I wouldn't say even that person can say, oh, hey, the person across the street witnessed the entire thing. I'm going to say I can stop you from doing anything to that person. I don't think you can under true natural law, because that behavior is actionable. It's actionable. They took one of your rights. That's theft. They're taking your right to your labor. And that's really a claim. See, people who conduct theft on other people, it's like saying you're my slave. You did the labor to acquire that, and now I'm just taking it. So I'm taking your labor, and that's a claim on your body. People got to learn how to keep their fucking hands off of other people's possessions. Learn what you own and what you don't learn, and don't touch other fucking people's stuff. Or they have a right to be brutally barbaric to you if you violate that right. You know, I don't really care what people think of that. I'm saying what the truth is in that situation. You know, in the past, I would have taken it a much lighter-hearted approach about it and tried to explain it much more diplomatically, but I don't care anymore. You know, I'm just going to come out and say it as it is. You know, so the first part of your question, yes, the person would have the right to say, I don't consider that theft. But the second part is, if it was witnessed by someone else and somebody else knew that they're dealing with a thief now, the person who was stolen from can ask another person not to do anything to them, but they can't make them do that, as far as I'm concerned. Because they actually violated a right. And whether they violated their rights or someone else's, a violation of someone else's rights is a violation of everyone's rights.
No, I was really just asking if consent somehow negates the theft.
No, it doesn't negate the theft, but it is your right to say, I am not considering it that, therefore I'm going to, quote, let it go. You're not even forgiving the person, because forgiveness would have to work both ways. They would have to be very seriously sorry for doing that. But, you know, I just think, you know, maybe you give thieves a couple of chances, and then after that, it's on, you know? I mean, like literally, you know, if a person can't rehabilitate themselves out of the behavior of theft, you got to say to them, I almost believe in giving people one chance to rehabilitate. You tell them one time, this is your first warning and your last warning, and then that's being excessively nice. That's being excessively ethical as far as I'm concerned. You know? I'm telling you, I'll tell people, I'll tell a fucking cop and judge right out in the open. I find anybody stealing my property, they're going to be hurt. I don't give a fuck what you do. You know? You're not going to take from me and I'm going to lay down like some little bullshit pussy. You know? So I think that's how people should treat thieves. And we shouldn't need cops. Just go get them. That's it. And that goes with mafias. That goes with fucking violent drug cartels. You want to sell drugs, do it peacefully. You want to be violent about it, people should come hunt you. They should come and hunt you. You know? It goes the same for people who think they're God and think they're the fucking gods of the earth and they own other motherfuckers and they're our masters and we're their slaves. You know? I think it should have been put down a long time ago. It should have been put down a long time ago. My producer's trying to get my attention. Is he too low?
He's low, and also, did you just say something?
Yeah. Raise his volume. All right, go ahead.
I was gonna say though, don't you think that we shouldn't resort to punitive violence?
It wouldn't be violence.
Unless it be, well, I mean, if he's not, if it's not to stop an action from happening, and it's punitive.
Not necessarily, because then that means if anybody can get away with it, nobody can do anything to them. If they can't be stopped, if they can't be caught in the act, and then no actionable behavior can be done to them, and it wouldn't be violence. It would be self-defense. See, the whole thing is the only violent behavior is an initiation. You can only start violent behavior. If a violent behavior is responded to, it's not violence. It's self-defense. This is part of what people still don't understand about the principle of self-defense. The principle of self-defense is not initiation. The only time violence takes place is when someone starts it.
Hey, Mark, so if somebody killed somebody and then they escaped,
yes,
and then a bounty hunter,
their behavior is still actionable. That behavior...
And a bounty hunter chases them down and takes them out. You know, he initiates violence on them.
No, he does not. Incorrect. That is an incorrect understanding of natural law. The person would still be able to go after that individual and conduct harm to them. That would still be self-defense, because the person has no right to do that and act as a predator on another person if they killed the other person in the wrong, which is called murder. If they were defending themselves, exercising self-defense against violence, then no one should go after that person. So if it is determined that that person conducted murder, yeah, somebody can go and get them. So that's natural law, you know, and I don't think any institution needs to do that. The people need to do it. Once you create institutions that will do something that the people are too cowardly to do, you have government again. Nobody but the people themselves have the right to protect their rights. You can't just say only this institution has the right to do that. Anyone has the right to do that. And that's a hardcore world that I want to see come about. How many people are truly ready for that responsibility? 99.99% of people will say they're not ready for that responsibility. And that's all the time. That's why the world is still in bondage, folks. That's the very reason we're still in bondage. That's all the time we have for this edition of What on Earth is Happening, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, government is slavery. We'll see you right here next week.